Palestine Wildcat football is on the air. KYYK 98.3 FM, etexradio.live, network1sports.com, and Palestine ISD are proud to present another season under the Friday Night Lights, brought to you in part by Cowboy Headquarters, Kevin and Janine Lilly's McDonald's, East Texas Crushed Rock, Palestine ISD, Elder Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Athens, Palestine Regional Medical Center, Quality Cool Air, Chef's Barbecue and Catering, Dogwood Insurance Agency, and Service Master by Brown Construction. Tonight's game is available to be viewed on YouTube and Facebook at KYYK Palestine. Let's get you out to the broadcast booth with the play-by-play voice of Palestine Wildcat Athletics. Here's Tony Watson.
Well, we are live at Pirate Stadium at Pine Tree High School, and the Palestine Wildcats have come to town to take on those Pine Tree Pirates. You're listening to the Cowboy Headquarters pregame show here on the ETEX Radio Network. My name is Tony Watson, Senior Pastor, First Baptist Church of Palestine, and the radio voice of the Palestine Wildcats. Joining me after a couple of weeks away on ministry and broadcast business is Chris Ruwalt, pastor of Southside Baptist Church of Palestine. Well, Chris, I know you were not here to see it last week, but how does it feel to see that the Palestine Wildcats have one on the win side of the ledger after the 31-22 victory over Maybank last week?
Well, it feels great. I just wish I could have been in the booth with you and called it. But, even though, you're not going to go to the playoffs and, your postseason is pretty much the hopes there have ended. Yeah, I just think it just makes everything better to get a win, to have something positive to build on. Now you come to Pine Tree tonight and, you have a chance to, to get win number 2 and to really have something positive to build on as you look forward to next year.
Wildcats are 1-8 on the season, and indeed that victory over Maybank felt good last week, but the Wildcats are not done. Pine Tree Pirates, as Chris mentioned, are in front of them, and with Pine Tree locked into that third-place seed headed to the playoffs, the Wildcats have the opportunity to kind of make a statement to a team that's headed to the playoffs. We'll take our first break and then move into our Kevin and Janine Lilly McDonald's Coaches Show with head coach and athletic director James Rays, where we'll ask Coach Rays about some of his seniors, what to look for tonight, and what's ahead for the offseason. You're listening to Palestine Wildcat Football on the ETEX Radio Network. Stay tuned.
At Cowboy Headquarters, we've got it all under one roof. With 60,000 square feet packed with farm and ranch gear, firearms, ammo, fishing gear, western apparel, hardware, lawn and garden, and workwear. We've got everything you need whenever you need it. Swing by Cowboy Headquarters, just south of the Loop on Highway 19 in Athens. Or shop online at cowboyhq.com. Cowboy Headquarters, your go-to place all year round.
It's time for the Coaches Show, brought to you by Kevin and Janine Lilly's McDonald's. We're visiting with the head coach and athletic director of the Palestine Wildcats, James Rays. Well, Coach, I know it was good to finally get that victory last Friday night. It's a grind for all the players, coaches, and to be honest, all of the support staff and even the families. What did getting that win mean to you and to your program?
Anytime you can win in this district, like we talked about, it's really good. We felt like going into it that we were the better football team. I thought we played pretty well the first half and we missed some open receivers early, but those things happen. But the second half, I think it got out of hand a little bit. We just got to learn how to win. Just put it that way.
Right. And that's just a process. And once it gets there, it really makes a difference in all the phases of the game. Well, it's our last coaches show of the season, so I want to give you an opportunity to speak about the remainder of the seniors we haven't talked about over the last 2 weeks. Talk to me about number 8, Jeremiah Carr, one of your leaders on defense.
Yes, sir. Carr's done a good job for us at outside linebacker the last couple of years. Again, he's another one of those seniors that's a great kid. We've enjoyed having him, and he will be a great asset to our community or somebody's community in the near future.
We've talked about him a lot on the broadcast because he gets a lot of airtime because he's a kicker and a punter, Colt James. But I want to insert this in. I appreciated you letting him get a chance to shoot for a 54-yard field goal last Friday night. But talk about Colt.
Oh, what a great kid! A great family. Colt does a great job. He's a pleasure to have. I have a good time with him. I get to talk to him a lot more than some of the other guys do. But I've enjoyed having Colt. We're going to miss him. He is a very, very good weapon for us, punting and kicking. And so, we're going to have to he's got big shoes. Somebody's got big shoes to fill with him because he's done a great job. All-state punter. He's going to go play in an all-star game in the Bayou Bowl in January. So he's been a huge asset for us. And again, he's very, very bright kid. Does a good job in the classroom. He's in the top 10 of his class, and he will do well moving forward as well.
Here's a guy that's been playing a little bit more on the offensive line of late, number 65, Tadeo Marquez. Talk about him.
Tadeo is a huge program guy. Hadn't played a lot, but shows up every day, does what you ask him to do, and comes with a smile on his face. Another great kid. Like I said, all these seniors are all great kids, and will do well coming through graduation and moving into the real world.
And finally, number 21, your defensive end, and I know he's going to play at the next level, Kason Applewhite.
Mm-hmm. What a great kid. Unbelievable kid. Probably our best emotional leader. Very vocal, but shows it on the field as well. Does a great job. I'm super excited that he was able to, get him a touchdown Friday night. But he's a kid that, he is gonna for sure excel at the next level and have some success.
He's one of those kids, and I didn't really plan to say this, but you could see him getting into a college program as his body matures and putting on some muscle and weight, and really see him blossom at the next level. I think
he 100% will, and he is nobody's going to outwork him. I can tell you that.
That's great. Well, tonight it's the Pine Tree Pirates. They've really come on strong over these past few years and been quite a force in this district. And I know it's a big motivating factor for you guys to try to finish out the year with a win. So what's it going to take to defeat the Pine Tree Pirates?
Just go play our game. We can't turn the ball over, of course. We got to have some takeaways and make some plays and make some tackles and play well on special teams. I thought we played really well on special teams Friday night. Yeah. But, we got to continue that and do things right and try to make an upset, with Pine Tree moving into the playoffs. They want to win a football game. But we'd love to go in there and be spoilers on their, senior night and the last game of their at home.
What does their offense look like? Is it similar to what we see from a lot of the other teams, spread it out and try to run to set up the pass?
They do. They enjoy it. They really want to set up the run for sure. They don't throw the ball a whole lot or haven't in the past, but they do a good job up front. They're pretty good size, got a good running back, quarterback. Does a good job of doing what he needs to do and not trying to do too much. And then defensively, they're there's a four-man front and do a good job as well. Coach Bachman and his staff do a great job. Dropping down from 5A helps out a lot.
Well, obviously the goal is to upset them and get a victory, but I know at this point in the season it's about more than just wins and losses. So what are you looking for from the Wildcats in addition to a victory in this final game?
Just do what we've been coaching them to do all year and do things right. That's the bottom line is high character, try to be high character kids and win or lose, know that you've done everything you can on and off the field to be successful.
But as you move into the off season, I know some of the kids will move into other sports like basketball and others will be in other sports in the spring. In the meantime, I know your strength and conditioning will be a focus. What does that generally look like on a day-to-day in the off season?
We'll start off maxing on we're going to start next week, so we'll start maxing next week with our kids. Of course, we've talked about this many times. We're only losing 10 seniors, so the majority of our kids are back. Yeah. But we're going to really focus on being here every day. Number one, attendance. We're going to focus on earning the right, to move forward and be on the field. We're going to focus on being all in. And that's what we have to do here and moving forward. And the kids are gonna buy in and do things right, along with, our strength program with Coach Easton does a great job. We're gonna get bigger, faster, and stronger, and we're really gonna focus on that and the nutrition side as well. It all comes down to that off season is kids eating right and doing things right, along with gaining some muscle mass and things like that and getting faster.
Well, Coach, reporter for the Wildcats all the way tonight. We've been visiting with James Reyes, head football coach and athletic director of the Palestine Wildcats. We'll be back with the coin toss and tonight's kickoff right after this.
I got my first job at McDonald's when I was 16 years old. Today, my wife, Janine, and I own 22 McDonald's restaurants. Hi, I'm Kevin Lilly, and as an owner-operator of one of the most iconic brands on the planet, I'm inviting you to apply to join our team. Get more information at lillymcd.com. That is LILLYMCD.com. Or you can stop by any of our restaurants and pick up an application today.
Good folks gather around great food. In Palestine, people have been gathering at that place for nearly 40 years. That place is Shep's Barbecue. The best ribs, beef, chicken, and sides like okra and turnip greens in East Texas. Plus, daily specials like pork chops that Shep's has been knocking out of the park since before some of you was born. Real East Texas barbecue right in your backyard. The trail of deliciousness and rolling smoke will lead you right to 1103 East Palestine Avenue. Shep's Barbecue.
Country's greatest hits all over East Texas. Kick 98.3.
Well, as we turn our attention to our Palestine ISD-sponsored portion of the pregame show, we want to remind you of the avenues to listen to and view the broadcast. Of course, we're still available on 98.3 FM KYYK, locally, as well as etexradio.live worldwide. Also available by live video stream on YouTube at Palestine Wildcats. That's a change from earlier in the season. If you search for at Palestine Wildcats, you will come on our channel. Click on the red circle that says live, and you can find our broadcast, as well as on Facebook Live through the KYYK Facebook page. We urge you to like and subscribe, as well as share these to all your social media outlets. Well, tonight is the 18th meeting historically between the Palestine Wildcats and Pine Tree on the football field, with the first meeting coming during the 1964 season, the season where the Palestine Wildcats won the state championship. The Wildcats are 10-7 in the previous 17 meetings and have won 3 out of the last 5, with the Wildcats taking a 35-7 loss last season. Pine Tree has really built a strong program of late and will be a formidable foe tonight. Tonight, we want to mention 4 particular Wildcat players to watch in tonight's contest. Tonight, we want to put some focus on the defensive side of the ball as well as special teams. The first player to watch is defensive back Ashton Cook, number 5. Ashton started the season as a starting quarterback, and Coach Reyes felt the greater need was that Ashton could meet for the Wildcats was on the defensive side, so he moved into DB full-time. He's an energy guy, has grown as a leader, and is a hard hitter on the defense, and you'll see him from time to time returning kicks and even showing up in the backfield. The second player to watch tonight is defensive end Kaysen Applewhite. Kaysen's going to be playing on Saturdays next fall, but for now, he's among the leaders in tackles, and when there's pressure behind the line of scrimmage, you can bet Kaysen is leading it or finishing it off, and he had an interception for a touchdown last week, which is unusual for a defensive end, but he's got some speed to go with that big size. The third defender I want to mention tonight is a player to watch is defensive end Jamarcus Brumley. Jamarcus has quietly had an outstanding season as the leading tackler for the Wildcats, and it's not even close. He's 20 more than the next closest tackler. He's almost 20 ahead there, and he flies to the ball and has used his speed to hit the edge or even run down a ball carrier downfield. He's a key to the Wildcats' success tonight. And then the final player to watch I want to mention is kicker punter Colt James. Colt has had 3 superlative seasons for the Wildcats, taking over pretty much where his brother Luke left off. Colt's athletic ability has helped him in many ways, whether it's fielding a snap or making a tackle, but his uncanny ability to give the Wildcats a chance to keep the opposition in the weakest field position, along with his incredible accuracy and place kicks, have made him an offensive and defensive weapon that will be sorely missed next year. Colt's only miss on the year, only miss on a place kick, was the 54-yard attempt last week. And all 4 of these men were going to need to have a good game in order for the Wildcats to be victorious tonight. Wildcats got to shore up that running game on defense and be more efficient in the passing game in order to match up with this Pine Tree Pirate team. Pirates have averaged 31 points a game and have surrendered at an average of 26 points per game on the season. We're going to take our final break of the pregame and come back and have the coin toss and set the starting lineups for you. You're listening to Palestine Wildcat football here on the ETEX Radio Network. Stay tuned.
When choosing your insurance company, you want an agency that is reliable, excellent, informative, and courteous. According to a 4.9 standing on Google reviews, that's exactly what you get when you choose Dogwood Insurance Company. Auto, home, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, commercial, and even SR22s. For 14 years, Dora and her staff have been covering you locally. Dogwood Insurance, located in downtown Palestine. Se habla español.
Can't make it to the big game? No big deal. The E-Tex Radio Group has you covered. Catch all the live action from your hometown team right here with your hometown broadcasters on your hometown station. Not via radio? Or maybe you're out of our coverage area? That's no big deal either. We partnered with NetworkOneSports.com to bring you all the action on any internet connection device, on air or online. Find your favorite team on E-Tex Radio Group Network.
The greatest country hits of all time. Kick 98.3.
We've had the coin toss at midfield, and Pine Tree has won the toss and deferred to the second half. So the Palestine Wildcats will put the offense on the board for the first drive of the season, or the first drive of the game. So we're going to introduce the offensive starting lineup for the Palestine Wildcats. And then after the change of possession, we'll introduce the defensive starting lineup for you. Starting on offense tonight for the Palestine Wildcats, at quarterback, the sophomore, number 9, London Brown. At running back, number 1, senior, Braylon Beckworth. At the receiver positions, number 2, senior, Savorian Boss Martin. Number 11, sophomore, DeAndre Turner. Number 4, sophomore, Colt Metters. And number 6, junior, C.J. Jones. Across the offensive line, at left tackle, number 55, senior, Braylon Johnson. At left guard, number 76, Dylan Hudson, a junior. At center, a sophomore, number 51, Caleb Giron. At right guard, number 77, a junior, Akwazi Donzo. And at right tackle, the senior, number 50, Caden Timmons. And we'll introduce the defense for you in just a bit. Well, Chris, what would we look for this first offensive drive for the Wildcats?
Yeah, I think you just want to get in some early rhythm. I really liked what you said earlier about wanting to stay balanced. You've got to be able to run the football, and that's going to be, of course, London Brown and Beckworth. But, you have to take advantage of your passing opportunities also. So let's put together a good drive and set the tone for the game.
Kick is coming from the Pine Tree Pirates. Going to go from left to right. Wildcats will be going from right to left. And the kick is a high end-over-end kick. It's going to drive the receiver back deep towards the end zone. Cummings is going to fake a handoff, and he's going to cut it up the middle at the 20, 25, up to about the 27-yard line. Ashton Cook was lined up on the right side, and they faked a handoff and kind of an end around, and then Cummings cut it up the middle of the field. The Wildcats will have decent field position to start from their own 28-yard line.
Yeah, a little kind of some trickeration to start. I love it.
Yeah, it's the last game. Why waste it? You know what I mean? Just bring those
absolutely.
things out there. But they're going to bring it back to the 26, and that's where the Wildcats will start off first and 10. Cole Metters breaking out to the left side. Also DeAndre Turner, 2 receivers to the right. Beckworth the back beside London Brown, the sophomore quarterback. And Beckworth goes in motion. Brown dropping back, looking to the right side, looking at a quick outlet downfield. It's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, which was Savorian Martin. We'll talk a little bit later about a special honor that Savorian Martin was given last week. We'll talk about that a little bit at halftime, so stay tuned for that. And we'll also have an interview that Larissa Lovelace did with Superintendent of Palestine ISD, Jason Marshall, to talk a little about the review of Bond 2025, which was voted in this past week. Second down and 10 for the Wildcats, coming to the line. Single receiver wide to the left, 2 receivers wide to the right, and the wingback Marshall on the left side. Brown taking the shotgun snap and hands it off to Beckworth, going up the middle, but he's hit hard at the line. Not going to get much. In fact, he might have lost a half a yard, so it'll be third down and long for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Pine Tree, first play of the game, they played 2 safeties high, and then this time they brought one and kind of brought him down into the box and kind of guessed right on both of them. So, third and long is not where you want to be.
Third down and right at 10 yards to go, maybe 9.5 for the Wildcats. 2 receivers going to split it out wide to the left, 2 receivers to the right. Wildcats wearing the all-white uniforms tonight with the white helmets, the white shoes. Pine Tree with the navy blue tops and navy blue helmets. Brown takes a snap, looking down to the left side. Now he's going to scramble out of the pocket, and he's got some room to run. 25, 30, up to about the 32-yard line. And he's going to be short of the first down. Probably be a situation where the Wildcats will have to punt it away, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I don't think you have a choice there. You know, if he could have picked up another maybe 3 or 4 yards and cut it to, you know, maybe 4th and 3 or 4th and 2, you might think about going for it there. But at that time, Pine Tree, they just sold out on the blitz, and, you know, London Brown just gets what he can out of it.
And Brown is certainly dangerous with the feet. We've seen that in his time at quarterback, but not able to get the first down there. It's going to be 4th down and 5, and Colt James will set up back at his own 18-yard line. We've got one additional blocker to come in off the bench at the last second to get the full complement there in front of Colt. Good snap. Kick is a low line drive kick, going to bounce at about the 35 and picked up by the return man, 35, and he's going to be brought down at about the 40. Quinn Marshall in on that, as well as Colt Metters going downfield to make that stop. And so Pine Tree will put their offense on the field for the very first time tonight. And we heard from Coach Reyes, they do pass the ball, but they spend most of their time focusing on that running game. So we'll see if the running defense of the Wildcats can be effective here tonight. That's been an area where they've been susceptible throughout the season. They'll be lined up at the 41-yard line. 1st down and 10. 2 receivers wide to the left side. Tight receiver on the right side. Single back in the backfield beside the quarterback. Taking the shotgun snap. He hands it off. Going to go up the middle. Going to get a little room to run. That is Roger Attaway running up the middle. And he's going to get good gain on the first down carry up to about midfield. Going to be just short of the first down. The quarterback is number 31, Colton Croft. You don't say that very often.
No, you don't.
And so it'll be 2nd down and 1 to go for the Pine Tree Pirates. Croft is a pretty good sized young man, a junior, running this offense. Single receiver to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Back beside Croft at his right hand. Wing back also on the right hand side. Goes in motion. Croft rolling to his left. Now stops and he's going to fire it downfield. He's got a man open and he makes the catch. And he's going to get 20, 15, 1 man to beat. And 10, 5, and he's going to get stopped just short of the end zone. And Chris, it looked like the defender just stopped short in order to try to make the play on the ball instead of playing the man.
Yeah, I actually thought that it was going to be picked off, but, you know, I think it was, I couldn't really tell exactly who it was down there, but the defender, you know, really, quite frankly, just mistimed his jump. And,
yeah.
You know, it was, and you know, those kind of plays, you know, you go for the pick, and if you come up with it, it's great. But if you don't, you know, it's feast or famine. And that time for the Wildcat defense, it was famine.
Seemed like that would have been one of those where the defender, if he kept playing the man, he still could have got the interception up against the man. But regardless, that's going to put Pine Tree inside the 5-yard line, 1st down and goal. Man goes in motion from left to right. Croft is awaiting the snap. He hands off to the back, and he hits the hole, but it is clogged up pretty quickly. Good job of the Wildcat defensive line from coming in there and stopping it. Jeremiah Carr, Kason Applewhite leading the charge there. Also, Jamarcus Brumley in on that. So the Wildcat defense does what they need to do here on that 1st and goal, and it is 2nd down and goal from the 2-yard line. Croft often goes to the far sideline, and he will goes to the far sideline to get the play from the coach. And so he's going to be doing a lot of running if he does that a lot tonight. Single receiver to either side. Man goes in motion left to right. The handoff is to the back, coming up the middle, and he's going to get off right tackle and get into the end zone for a Pine Tree Pirate touchdown. Jacarius Timmons in on the carry, getting the touchdown for the Pine Tree Pirates.
Yeah, 59 yards in 4 plays. Of course, the big play was the 47-yard pass completion that got them down onto the 2. And, well, that's not the start that you wanted.
Swing and gate formation set up for Pine Tree. Now they'll move over to the traditional formation. Set up for the extra point attempt from the foot of Julian Ibarra. We've seen a couple of these swing and gate type situations over the last couple of weeks. Snap is down, kick is up. And it is through the uprights, and it's good. So the Pine Tree Pirates strike first blood of partially, or big part was the big pass play that came early in the drive and got down inside the 5-yard line. The Wildcats will have to have their offense getting going here to try to respond to that. And just had a 3 and out on the first drive of the first quarter.
And it's a Pine Tree defense that's given up points this year. You know, you mentioned it in the pregame. They're averaging giving up 26 points per game. So, not exactly the 85 Bears or the 2011 Alabama Crimson Tide or that famous Wrecking Crew defense from my youth with Quentin Coriat and the Aggies down there in College Station. So, if you can just get on a rhythm, if you can just get on a little bit of roll, pick up a couple of first downs, I think you can move the ball against this team.
I totally agree with that. That was an observation that I'd kind of thought about as well, as they have been certainly a very competitive team, but they've played a lot of close games. And, of course, they have secured that third seed of the playoffs, and we'll kind of line that out for you as we go throughout the game. Our district as well as a couple of other districts around, because there's some important games that are happening even tonight. Ibarra is teeing up, and he's going to kick it off. The left-footed kicker takes it from the 40-yard line. A short end-over-end kick is going to be called for a fair catch. Colt Metters calls for the fair catch at the 24-yard line, and so the Wildcats will have about the same field position they started with on the first drive, and see if they can get a couple of first downs here together and make something happen. Some schedule of games in our E-Tex Net Radio Network. The Athens Hornets are hosting Bullard tonight. They should have a good opportunity to get a win against Bullard and advance as the second seed in the playoffs. Westwood is at Huntington tonight, and they've got several things afoot. Could be finished the second, third, or even fourth in the district. And then Henderson is hosting Lindale, and Malakoff is hosting Winsboro. And there's whistles stopping the play before it gets underway.
Yeah, we do have a score from the Westwood game. Westwood leading that one 7-6 in the first quarter.
All right, well, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Westwood, the game that everybody caught everybody's attention was when Teague beat them. And then, of course, Fairfield is really strong this year. And so there's some things at work tonight for Westwood against Huntington. Handoff to Beckworth, and he gets hit right at the line, and he's going to be taken down, maybe even for a little bit of a loss, by David Lively. It's going to be third down, or I guess second down and 17, 16.
Yeah, it's 17. He lost 2 yards on that, and David Lively, he's a big-time player for this Pine Tree team. He's kind of one of their team leaders, and I believe he's leading them in tackles and in tackles for loss.
Two receivers to the right, two receivers to the left. Single back in the backfield is Beckworth beside Brown, and he goes in motion to the right side. Brown now looking to the right side. He'll be flushed out of the pocket. Tries to get it out to Beckworth. Makes the connection to the 15, 20, 25, 30. Beckworth making something happen there. Nice gain on the little bubble screen pass to the outside. And it's going to be a third down and reasonable yardage situation. Third down at about 4 to go for the first down. But the Wildcats certainly need to convert it here to keep this drive alive and get some momentum on their side. 7:45 to go here in the first quarter. Pine Tree leading this one 7-0. Brown rolling to the left side on an option play. He's going to keep it. He's going to get the first down across the 35, now across the 40. And London Brown is proven his worth, dangerous with the legs, and he's got the good arm too. If he can begin to make those connections on the passing, he's going to be plenty dangerous over the next 2 years for these Wildcats. Got the athletic ability, and Coach Reyes cannot say enough about how smart he is and how good he is in the classroom. Yeah,
if you've got a quarterback that can run and pass, it's such a dangerous weapon, isn't it? Because when plays break down, he's got the legs to be able to pick up yards, and really with the passing, a lot of it's just timing and just kind of getting used to being that guy.
Two receivers to either side, and Brown fakes the handoff, and then he loses the ball, but he falls back on it. Unfortunately, it's going to be a loss of about 5 on the play. He and Beckworth kind of collided a little bit, and they're having a little conversation about what happened there. But then Brown took the ball, and it was knocked away from him, but thankfully he did fall on it. So it'll be second down and about 15 to go for the Wildcats. So can't get behind the chains too much for this Wildcat offense. Two receivers to either side on second down and 15. Brown takes a snap, looking to the right side, gets the outlet pass to Beckworth, but it goes in and out of his hands and into the hands of the Pirate defender, who's going to take it to the house. That one was just one of those that just went through the hands of Beckworth, momentarily stopping it on the way to Desmond Williams' hands, who took it in for about a 35-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I just, didn't have a lot of touch on the ball, and Beckworth couldn't hold on to it. And really good heads-up play by the defender. That's not always easy to do, and that's just part of learning to play the position. When you got to put a little bit more touch on it, and when you got to really fire it in there. And unfortunately, that time it didn't go the Wildcats' way.
Julian Ibarra is going to attempt the extra point. The left-footed kicker's looking for the spot at the 10-yard line. Holder takes a bad snap and puts it down. Kicker gets it up, and Ibarra is 2 for 2 on the night. So, Pine Tree Pirates extend the lead to 14-0. Had a long offensive play, a long pass play on the first offensive drive, and then there was a pass that went right through the hands of Beckworth into the hands of Desmond Williams, who took it in for a touchdown. Now the Wildcat offense will be back on the field for the third drive of the first quarter, and we are still with 6 minutes and change to go in the first quarter, 6:22 specifically to go. So the Wildcats still have an opportunity to make something happen here in this first quarter. Desarian Cummings and Ashton Cook back deep to receive the kickoff for the Wildcats. I'd love to see an opportunity to get some good field position to start this drive. Ibarra teeing it up at the 40-yard line. And this first quarter tonight brought to you by East Texas Crushed Rock. We're thankful for our sponsors. Coach's Show tonight brought to you by Kevin and Janine Lilly's McDonald's. Dogwood Insurance brought our Set the Scene for you. And then tonight, the first quarter brought to you by East Texas Crushed Rock. And our first segment brought to you, and our pregame brought to you by Cowboy Headquarters. Ibarra kicking it off. It's a short end-over-end kick, going to be taken by Metters at the 32-yard line up to across the 40. And he's going to be brought down there. But Colt did a good job of getting to that quickly and trying to get ahead of the pursuit and going to give the Wildcats pretty good field position. Evidently, Pine Tree has decided they are not going to let Desarian Cummings and Ashton Cook get their hands on the ball deep, which is probably a wise move on their point. But it's got some good athletes up front for the Wildcats, too, including Colt Metters. Be at the 42-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
Well, so you get the chance to, you get your best field position of the night, your third drive, and, kind of showed some things on that last drive before the interception that was returned for a touchdown, and you got some things that you can build on.
Two receivers to either side, single back. Brown looking to the right side. This time he's going to get to the inside receiver, makes a connection at the 45 to the 50, going to be close to the first down marker, about a half a yard shy. So they make the connection there to C.J. Jones. So that's the kind of thing you want to see this offense do, is those short passes when getting out to those athletic receivers so that they can make something happen in the open field. So now it'll be second down and about a yard to go, as the yard marker is slow to move, but they get it down, moved just about half a yard shy of the first down, just across midfield. Second down and short. Beckworth gets the handoff, and he gets hit quickly, but he's trying to bring the pile forward. He's not going to make the first down. In fact, he might lose another half of a yard. Beckworth doing a good job all season long of running in between the tackles, but he did not have a chance there as the defenders swarmed on him. That Pirate front seven is pretty tough on that run right now.
Yeah, they are, and they're really big, too. I mean, that's a pretty stout defensive line. The linebackers are all big, and they're looking for the run. They know when to look for it.
Brown hands it off to Beckworth going around the right side. He's got the first down and more, 45 down to about the 42-yard line. Little inside handoff, getting the job done. And so they'll move the chains, and that'll be a first down for the Wildcats. I believe the second first down of the night for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it is the second, and, that time instead of running up the middle, like you said, they just ran off tackle and were able to pick up a nice 8 yards.
Two receivers to the right side, single receiver to the left side, wing back on the left side as well. Now Coach Ray's coming out and changing the play call, and it is Braylon Beckworth as the running back to the right side of London Brown. Brown looking for the snap, gets it, looking to the right side, gets a quick outlet pass, but it's going to be beyond the grasp of DeAndre Turner. That one just not where it needed to be. And, of course, Brown had some pressure on him in the backfield as well. But the pass was just well beyond where Turner was going to be. So it's second down and 10 to go for the Wildcats. And that's where London Brown is going to have to make some growth in the process, and he certainly will. It's just there's a difference in practice timing and game timing. And at the varsity level, everything looks a little different. So this young sophomore, he's got a bright future ahead of him. And so right now we're looking at second down and 10. Two receivers to the left, single receiver to the right, wing back on the right side as well. Handoff is to Beckworth. Hits the hole hard. He's going to get a couple of yards up to about the 40-yard line. Chris, I don't know if you saw this or not, but the 7th grade Wildcat A and B teams both finished the season undefeated.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for them. That's great.
And that gives some more encouragement for the future as well. Of course, Coach Ray's son, Ethan, is on that 7th grade A team as well. 3rd down and 8 to go for the Wildcats. Ball spotted right at the 40-yard line. Brown looking to the right side now, looks to the left, gets it out to Turner, 45. He's going backwards instead of forwards. They got him behind the line of scrimmage, and he couldn't get any room to run. And so he's actually going to lose some yardage on the play, and it'll bring it back to the 45-yard line. At this point on the field, probably a no-brainer to go ahead and go for it here, even though it's 4th down and 12. The worst comes to worst, you maybe put them down at some not great field position, but best case scenario, you get the first down. Two receivers to either side.
No, sorry about that, Tony. Yeah, I mean, it certainly can't help. I mean, you're down 2 scores, last game of the season and there, but unfortunately, when you false start like that, you lose 5 yards, turns your 4th and 12 to 4th and 17, and now you probably give some good consideration to go ahead and punting.
Yeah, I think we will punt it away now. And I just realized I didn't give the defensive starting lineup, so I'll do that in just a moment. So George, if you're checking me out here, when we turn the ball over here, I'll give the defensive starting lineup here with 3:15 to go here in the first quarter, as it's 14-0 in favor of the Pine Tree Pirates. Want to salute our 2-man video crew here tonight. We've got our video director, George Seralda, who is the best we have in the company, doing a great job. His brother Benjamin is on the camera tonight doing an outstanding job. Good snap to Colt. He kicks it away. Going to try to get the angle down to the sidelines and gets just about a coffin corner punt. It's going to go out of bounds and does get a coffin corner, going to get it to the 19-yard line. So while we do that, as we turn it over, let me give you the starting lineups for the defense for the Wildcats. Across the defensive line, at defensive end, it's number 21, the senior, Cason Applewhite, who had the interception return for a touchdown last week. At defensive tackle, number 56, junior Kenneth Ofushene. At defensive tackle, number 54, senior Ethan Thomas. At defensive end, number 0, junior XL Obrigbo. At middle linebacker, number 32, sophomore Elliott Buckler. At linebacker, number 8, senior Jeremiah Carr. At linebacker, number 24, junior Jamarcus Brumley. At cornerback, number 2, Savorian Martin, a senior. And number 3, Don Brooks, a senior. At safety, number 5, junior Ashton Cook. And also at safety, number 19, senior Cohen Thomason. The starting lineup for your defense for the Wildcats. 1st down and 10 for Pine Tree. Ball spotted at their own 19-yard line. Croft going to try the pass for the first time. Gets it out to Williams. And he makes the connection, but the boss is there to take him down. So he might get a short gain on the play, but he drove him back and made sure he knew that the boss was there, Savorian Martin. And we'll talk a little bit more at halftime, kind of tease that a little bit for you about an award that Savorian received. Of course, we know he's a Texas Tech commit, and so he'll be playing for those Red Raiders, who are having quite a fine season this year. 2nd down and about 7 to go for the Pine Tree Pirates. Single receiver to the right side, 2 receivers to the left side. Single back in the backfield, Croft. Tight end's going to move from right to left and reset. Man goes in motion right to left. Across the line, he'll stop right behind the left guard. Croft with the fake. Then hands it off, rather, to the back, coming through the left side, and he's going to get the first down and more. Jaden Serviet, no, that's Roger Attaway on the carry, and going to get the first down for the Pirates. So quite a bit of adjustment there, but they got the tight end over in a blocking place, and he helped pave the way. And we got an official timeout on the field right now. And it looks like we've got a player down for the Wildcats. Coach Coyne and her staff out there tending to him. And it is 1:48 left to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, I was talking to my good friend Clyde the other day, and he was telling me, just didn't really have anything to do. And I told him, I said, you ought to head down to Fox House Bar and Grill. Incredible atmosphere there with great food and drink specials. They do karaoke on Wednesdays, live music. And the most fun you can have in Palestine. Fox House Bar and Grill, 3814 West Oak Street in Palestine. And we have a score from Henderson, Tony, where Lindale leads that one by a score of 14-0 in the first quarter.
Okay, interesting. 1st down and 10 for Pine Tree. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a moment. Croft takes a snap, fakes the handoff, play action, going out to the right side, makes a connection to Williams, but he's going to go backwards as well. And Jeremiah Carr was right there in his face, along with Cohen Thomason. You know, we were talking about on the way over here, Chris, about the teams in our district. 5 teams in this district have proven themselves to be the class of the district. That being Henderson, Lindale, Chapel Hill, Pine Tree, and Kilgore. And, of course, Kilgore has been far and away the best team, it seems, in the district. But any of those other 4 teams you would think could do really well in the playoffs. However, one of them doesn't get to go, and that's the Henderson Lions, who we saw firsthand was a very formidable opponent. But so there's going to be some teams from this district that are going to make some noise in the state playoffs. 2nd down and 12 to go, and that's going to end. Well, no, we're going to take a timeout with 40 seconds left to go. So we'll kind of talk about that for just a moment. You know, Kilgore was obviously the best team in the district, and I think the surprise for me a little bit, Lindale always plays Palestine tough, but I think we've seen them grow as a program significantly in the last year or so.
Yeah, we really have, and they're just kind of one of those programs that's just, they just keep getting better and better, it seems like, every year. And, you know, they probably surprised some people by finishing 2nd in the district. And then when you add to that, you know, of course, Chapel Hill, which I think a lot of people probably would have put them not on the same level of Kilgore, but if I remember right, they were around 10 to start the season, ranked number 10, so very highly thought of there. And then this Pine Tree team, you know, they end up finishing 3rd. I think that surprised a lot of people because I think a lot of people thought they would be the team that was on the outside looking in. But as it turns out, you know, they come up with some big wins this year, end up finishing 3rd. And then, you know, like you said, Henderson, which is a very, very good football team, ends up, you know, on the outside looking in this year.
2nd down and 12 to go for the Pirates. Man goes in motion from right to left. Croft rolling to his left side. Now he's going to look back to the right and try to make a connection. And what a defensive play there as number 22 for the Wildcats, Micah Tanksley, comes in and just blisters the receiver. Williams is having a difficult time tonight. It's going to force Pine Tree in a 3rd down and long situation for the first time tonight. And going back to that previous conversation, I mean, you're looking at the standings. Kilgore 5-0 in district, Lindale 4-1, Pine Tree 3-2, Chapel Hill 3-3, Henderson 2-3. It's a big bunch right there throughout this district. Croft rolling to his left side. He's going to hand off to the back, coming across the right side. And the Wildcats have a chance to make a stop, and they do. Ethan Thomas, Cohen Thomason in on the stop, and it's going to be well short of the 1st down. Probably going to force the Pirates into a punting situation, and it does. And of course, you know, the seedings are set for this district. Kilgore is the number 1, Lindale number 2, Pine Tree number 3, Chapel Hill number 4. And for the 2nd or 3rd year in a row, Henderson has come in like a house of fire. And then right at the end of district, they seem to drop some key games. But that is a talented football team, and I don't expect them to be away for long. Well, we've come to the end of the 1st quarter. The Wildcats trailing this one 14-0. We'll be back with the 2nd quarter in just a moment. You're listening to Palestine Wildcat Football on the E-Tex Radio Network.
Hey, y'all, this is April with East Texas Crushed Rock, a local family-owned and operated aggregate supply and excavation contractor. Our location is 9 miles north of Palestine, right off of 315. At East Texas Crushed Rock, we produce our own material, we own our own equipment, and have over 30 years of experience. Open from 7 to 3:30, Monday through Friday. We would love to have your business. Please call April at 903-676-6060 and let East Texas Crushed Rock crush your problem.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
It's the Morning Mess with Cat Powers. It's the best way to start your day in East Texas. It's live, it's local, it's global, it's loco, and nobody does it like Cat.
And the way that skirt hangs.
Special guest, community news, and information you can use. The Morning Mess with Cat Powers is brought to you by Bevo's Butchery and Bistro in Mont Alba, Trinity Valley Community College, and The Hendo. KYYK Palestine, country's greatest hits, all part of the E-Tex Radio Network. Kick 98.3.
Short punt is taken on a bounce by the Boss, and he's across midfield. Got a nice punt return again. Last week, the Boss took one to the house and then got another opportunity. Took another one to the house, but unfortunately a hold on the return brought it back. But he's saying, for my last game of my high school career, let me have that ball and see if I can get another one. And he gives the Wildcats excellent field position inside the 30-yard line.
Yeah, even with the holding penalty, it's still going to be pretty good field position. Yeah, it sure is, isn't it? Because it's at the 32.
Yeah. Or the 27.
I stand corrected.
I do that all the time. I can't get away with it now with it being on video, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Two receivers to the left, two receivers to the right. Single back in the backfield is Braylon Beckworth for the Wildcats. Jones goes in motion from right to left. Brown kind of hits him on the outlet pass coming across the left side of the 20, 15, 10. Jones has got a chance to get in the 10, inside the 10, and he does to about the 9-yard line. Nice looking play. Caught Jones on the run. Brown hit him just right in stride, and he's going to get a first down for the Wildcats temporarily until the result of the penalty is revealed. It's going to be a hold called against the Wildcats, so that'll bring that one back. So we hate to see that, but certainly encouraging to see that happening from the Wildcats, getting a little bit of offensive momentum on the passing game, even if it's just this short passing game.
Well, I like it because it's quick.
Yeah.
And because you're able to get the ball out of the hands of London Brown quickly. And, you know, unfortunately, like you said, that one gets called back because of a penalty. But I really like that plan.
It's going to be first down at about 14 to go for the Wildcats. Brown running the option to the right side. He'll pitch it out to Beckworth across the 30, 25. Going to get some of the yardage back. It'll be a second down and about 6 to go for the Wildcats. Looking at some of the other races around the area, in 3A Division I District 9, Westwood's district, that's all a big jumbled mess after number 2. Fairfield has won that district with a 4-0 mark. Then you got Tig, Westwood, Diboll, and Crockett all coming in tonight with 2-2 marks. And so I was talking with Ricky Honey, who does the broadcast for KNET and the Westwood Panthers as Coach Reyes takes a timeout. And he said, I was asking him where Westwood was likely to finish, and he said they could be number 2, number 3, number 4, or not make the playoffs, depending on how they do tonight. Now, if they win against Huntington, they are in the playoffs. So, you know, that's a far cry from what we saw last year from the Westwood Panthers. And so maybe this will be something that will propel them with some momentum into the playoffs. And where Athens is, they have locked in the 2nd seed. Carthage right now at 4-0, Athens 3-1, Center 2-2, and then Brownsboro, Bullard, and Rusk all with 1 and 3 marks, and they're getting an opportunity to possibly see who's going to get in that playoff. It could be one of those 3. Not likely to be Rusk, but definitely Brownsboro or Bullard.
Well, I did see that Athens is currently trailing Bullard, I think, in the first quarter by a score of 14-6.
Okay. Well, there you go. Wow. A little bit of surprise there, but it's early. Back to live action. Brown running the RPO, and he'll keep it. Go around the left side, gets to the 20. He's going to get close to the first down marker, and I think he's going to have enough for that first down. So Wildcats trying to threaten here as we have begun the second quarter. 10:38 to go here in the second quarter. And let's see where they spot it. Haven't moved the chains yet. They're showing it second down and less than a yard to go. So third down and less than a yard to go. The Wildcats will take that, certainly. No problem there. But they need to convert it, certainly. It's week 11 of the high school football season. We call it week 10 because it is the 10th game, but everyone has that one off week. And so it's 11 weeks to get 10 games in. And we'll give you some of the scores from around the area here in just a moment. After this play, Brown hands it off to Beckworth, who then hands it off to the Boss coming around the left side. He's going to get his shirt tugged along in the backfield. He's trying to pull away from it, but he's not going to get it. And that was the one thing that you did not expect on that play was a loss. But the Wildcats put a little trickeration there, but the Boss couldn't turn the corner on it. And so it's going to back the Wildcats up, and we'll see where they give the forward progress to. And it's going to be back around the 27-yard line. So it'll be a 4th down and about 9 to go for the Wildcats. No reason not to go for it here. This would be a 40-yard plus field goal for the Wildcats, but at this point, you go ahead and go for it, give yourself a chance to move closer to the end zone. 2 receivers to either side. Brown takes a snap, looks to the right side, trying to get the pass across the middle. He makes the catch. It is going to be Don Brooks making the catch. It's going to be a 1st down, Wildcats. Nice job on that inside slant. Don Brooks using that size and length to his advantage in getting Wildcats a 1st down.
Yeah, and they came on the blitz. Pine Tree came on the blitz. That time, London Brown does a good job of just getting the ball out, hit the easy slant, pick up the 1st down. 2
receivers to either side. Brown going to run the option up the middle, keep it, and he's going to get some hard yards up to about the 10. Looking at some scores from around the area. A Thursday night score was Kilgore defeated Maybank 56-6. As of tonight, Fairfield is leading Crockett 28-7. It's Jewett-Leon leading Groveton 28-0. Frankston leading Cayuga at halftime 21-7. Frankston trying to complete the undefeated season. Grapeland leading Lovelady 21-7. Diboll leading Tig 13-6. Pleasant Grove leading Van 35-0. And back to the snap. It's going to be running around the left side inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Beckworth on the carry. Oakwood leads Trinidad, or actually they defeated Trinidad by that 45-point deal in 6-man, 52-0. Westwood leading Huntington 21-12 at halftime. Troop leading Buffalo 7-0. Carthage leading Brownsboro 7-0. New Diana leading Elkhart 7-0. Rusk leading Center 8-7. Bullard leading Athens 14-6, as was mentioned. Lindell leading Henderson 21-0. And going around the left side is Brown, and he's going to get hit hard right at the sidelines to the point where they're going to be a flag for a late hit.
Yeah, and it's well-deserved. I mean, you know, he was clearly out of bounds. I think he was even kind of stumbling, and the Pine Tree defender just came on and laid in that extra lick, and that referee was right there, and that'll be the easiest call that ref makes all night.
For sure, and it'll be a 1st down as they'll mark it half the distance to the goal line. And one final score that we, in our list of here, the scores we're giving you, Malakoff tied with Winsboro at 7. So we'll keep giving you those scores as we go throughout the evening.
And Tony, at Huntington, Palestine Westwood leading 21-12. That is at halftime now.
Okay. All right. So it'll be 1st and goal for the Wildcats when they spot it. So certainly don't want to see London Brown take those hits, and he looked like he went down pretty hard, but he's popped back up, and he's ready to go again. 2 receivers to the right, single receiver to the left-hand side. Ball spotted at about the 3. 1st and goal for the Wildcats. Brown's going to keep it around the left side. Can he turn the corner and get into the end zone? He does! London Brown, touchdown, Wildcats.
Yeah, London Brown on that drive, I mean, he was really, really good. He had the big play to Brooks on 3rd down, and then he picks up the rest with his legs, and, you know, really nice drive there by the Wildcats.
Something else I've noticed, Chris, is the Palestine Wildcat Band has just now arrived. So glad to see that they're here. We were certainly missing hearing that fight song throughout, and now they're kind of the ones that are up there trying to get it together pretty quickly. Snap is down, kick is up. Colt James, perfect on extra points throughout the year. Can't say enough about the job that Colt James has done punting and kicking this year, and I want to emphasize again, his place kicks on extra points and field goals. He is perfect on the year except for he missed one, and it was a 54-yard field goal attempt last week. So we'll give him a break on that one and say he's been pretty perfect all year long. So with 7:58 to go in the second quarter, this one looks a lot better now, Chris. 14-7 Wildcats trail.
Well, it does. You finally get some points on the board, a 7-play, 27-yard drive, you know, that results in a touchdown. And, you know, now, you know, your defense, you stopped them on the last drive. You need to stop them again, give the ball back to that offense, see if you can't get more points on the board, you know, going into halftime, or at least, you know, with not a lot of time left on the clock, you wouldn't think.
We've talked about Frankston looking at trying to get that undefeated season. They are 4-0 in district, 9-0 overall, and they are leading that district 8 in 2A Division I. Mildred is 3-1. Carlisle and Cayuga are 2-2. Kearns 1-3, and Crossroads 0-4. Cayuga has clinched a playoff berth, and some seeding is up for grabs tonight. Colt going to kick it a low line drive kick, going to drive it into the end zone and out. And so not even giving Pine Tree a chance for a return there. Colt can certainly drive it to the end zone every time, and did it on that particular kick as well. So A lot of playoff races shaping up, and a lot of places have been determined, but still some things on the line for tonight, and we're going to be following many of those here as we go throughout the evening. 7:58 to go in the second quarter. Wildcats trail by 7. Wildcats want to get a defensive stand here and get the ball back, get an opportunity to maybe even this game up before we go to the locker room. 2 receivers to the right, single receiver to the left-hand side, single back in the backfield. Croft calling the signals. He'll hand it off, and he's going to get tackled right away. Cason Applewhite just about met him at the handoff, and you can see he's excited there. Elliott Buckler in there on the tackle as well, and Jamarcus Brumley as well. Cason Applewhite having himself a pretty nice game here to start this for the Wildcats.
Yeah, he really is, and Savorian Martin's made a couple nice plays, and yep. I didn't have anything to add to it. Yep.
Second down and 11 to go as Applewhite takes him down for a 1-yard loss. 2 receivers to the right, single receiver to the left. Croft hands it off to the back. Well, he fakes the handoff and gets it out to the receiver. This time they do make the completion. And out to Williams, Cohen Thomason on the coverage. Nice job on the fake. Fake me out, certainly. And got the inside slant. And it's going to be a first down. The first time we've seen a first down come by the way of the pass, other than that long 40-yard completion on the first drive. So they'll move the ball up to about the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and the receiver actually bobbled it, but was able to kind of bring it in, and that ball was really rifled in there.
Yeah, it was. 2 receivers, or rather a single receiver to either side, back in the backfield, wing back on the right side, tight end on the left side. The handoff is to back coming through the middle, and he's going to get enough for the first down and more. He's got one man to beat. The boss is going to try to take him down at about the 25-yard line. He does at about the 22-yard line. And it'll be first down and 10. And so the back coming through the hole just hit it very quickly and gets the first down and more for the Pine Tree Pirates. And so it'll be first and 10 as they're heading up to that red zone, just on the verge of it. 6:30 to go here in the second quarter. Wildcats trailing by 7. Single receiver to either side, tight formation. Single back in the backfield. Croft taking the shotgun snap. Going to hand it off to the back coming through and across the middle, and he gets about 5. Wildcats take him down. Cohen Thomason leading the charge there, but he's going to get a good gain on the first down, but there is a flag on the near side. Hopefully that is what we think it might be, given the proximity of the flag. But it also could be an offsides against the Wildcats because there was a defender getting up close, and it is going to be offsides against the Wildcats. And I believe that was Savorian Martin that was coming up on the rush and got a little bit too close. And the official gave him some insight into what that was about. So this will be a 5-yard penalty against the Wildcats. So it'll be first down and 5 as the ball will be spotted at the 17. 6:13 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, and you might ask why would they accept the penalty there? And the reason you do that, even though you give up a yard, is because, it's first and 5 as opposed to second and 4.
Yeah, good point. 2 receivers to the left, no receivers to the right. And Croft going to hand off, going up the middle, and spins across the 12 to about the 11-yard line. That's Roger Attaway, the senior back. And he's going to get the first down. And they'll move the chains. The first and 10 from the 11-yard line. So technically Pine Tree could get a first down without getting into the end zone. 2 receivers to the left. Tight formation on the right-hand side. Croft takes a high snap, hands it off to the back, coming up the middle, off left tackle, and he's bottled up pretty quickly. That's Jacarius Timmons. And he does get some forward progress, however, across the 10 to about the 7.5-yard line. So it'll be a second down and 5+ to go for Pine Tree. They continue to run it into the line and get that 3 and 4 and 5 yards on every carry, and that's certainly serving them well. Wildcats have a player down on the near side of the field. We want to say thank you to those of you who have been with us all throughout the season, and we were taking note of the viewers that we have on YouTube and on Facebook the first year that we've done this, and we appreciate your support. Makes all the difference in the world. Thank our sponsors that you hear throughout the broadcast and let them know how much you appreciate what they do, because without them, we could not do what we do here. But we hope to just continue expanding this. We'll be audio only through basketball and baseball, but after this year, who knows what could happen. As with your support, anything is possible. We've been glad to be able to bring you this video live stream here in this football season. Think that our crew has done a outstanding job of putting those broadcasts on every week, and we appreciate your support. 2nd down and 5 to go for the Pirates. Man goes in motion from left to right. Croft waiting on him to get set on the right side. Then he hands it off up the middle. It's going to be Timmons, and he's going to get it in the end zone for the touchdown. So the Pirates answer the Wildcats, and they put the ball back in the end zone, and it goes back to a 2-score lead with the extra point attempt coming up. So the Wildcats had a neutral zone infraction, but that was declined. And so Ibarra will be setting up to attempt the extra point. They'll start with that swing and gate formation. They always do that to try to catch the defense off guard, but the Wildcats are not buying it. So they'll move over into the traditional formation. They're hoping to catch somebody out by themselves so they can just run or pass the ball for a 2-point conversion. Snap is wide, and this time the holder was going to take off and run to the left-hand side. Wildcats had a man across the line of scrimmage, about 10 seconds before the snap.
There used to be a video game where you could play as a defensive player, and you could edit the game so that offsides wouldn't be a penalty, and that's about what that looked like. Because what you would do is you would take your player and you would just line them, between the quarterback and the snap, and you would just recover the fumble. And that's about what that looked like to me.
If you were watching that on YouTube or Facebook, you'd say, where is he going? The snap is good. Hold is down. The kick is up. And Ibarra is true once again. He's 3 for 3. And it's 21-7 as the Wildcats trail this one with 4:58 to go here in the second quarter. We're going to take a quick break and be back with the rest of the second quarter here in just a moment. You're listening to Palestine Wildcat football here on the E-Tex Radio Network.
You can support one of your local volunteer fire departments this Saturday by attending the Bradford VFD Barbecue and Auction. November 8th, starting at 4 p.m., a fundraiser for the Bradford VFD located at Parton & Parton Hart Bar Ranch, 3159 West FM 837. That's a fundraiser for the Bradford Volunteer Fire Department. If you have an event you would like featured for free, email that information to PalestineRadioStations@gmail.com.
Well, the Pine Tree Pirates getting ready to kick it off back to the Wildcats with 4:58 to go in the second quarter. Wildcats get a chance to put the offense back on the field and kind of narrow this gap, as they had gotten to within 1 score, but now it's a 2-score lead for Pine Tree. The Wildcats have a say in how that goes leading up into the halftime break. And at halftime, we'll have an interview for you with Jason Marshall, the PISD superintendent. And if the band is playing at halftime, we'll give you some of that as well. High end-over-end kick. Going to be taken by Cummings at the 8-yard line. Up to the left side, 20. Close to the 25. Breaks away. Going to try to get some more yardage around the right side. And can't get quite loose enough, but it's going to get to about the 23-yard line. That's where the Wildcats will start their possession, 1st and 10. Pine Tree Pirate defender a little slow getting up and limping a little bit as Arian Cummings left a mark. So the Wildcats put the offense back on the field and trying to get something going here with 4:50 to go in the second quarter. At the end of the game, we'll be presenting you our final player of the game and sharing that with you. So keep your ears open and your eyes open for who you think might be a good candidate. Got a couple of early candidates out there for us already. 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left, single back in the backfield. Brown looking to the left side, rolls out to the left. He's going to try to cut it upfield, spins, going to get back to nearly the line of scrimmage. The ball gets loose, but I think the Wildcats were able to fall on it. And it was Beckworth that was able to fall on it. So the Wildcats avoid a potential disaster there. and it goes back to the 22-yard line. So loss of a yard on the play, but mostly the most important thing was that they maintained possession.
Yeah, and London Brown, I mean, he took a hard hit, and it was one of those situations where helmet gets on ball and ball squirts loose. But fortunately, like you said, Palestine was able to jump on it.
Second down and 11 to go. Single receiver to the right, two receivers to the left-hand side. Wing back on the right side, single back in the backfield. Brown hands it off to Beckworth. He's going to go up the middle and get some good yardage across the 30. Going to get it close to the first down marker, and I think he's going to have it. Nice job of Beckworth. But Chris, really what that was about was the blocking gave him a great hole to get through that initial charge on the line.
Yeah, I mean, it was great blocking. In fact, that hole was so big, I'm not so sure that you and I could have maybe gained 3 or 4 yards on it. But Beckworth does a good job, though, of finishing it off, and even had a little bit of a hurdle there, and, nice run. In fact, that's his best carry of the night.
Two receivers to either side, single back in the backfield. Brown looking to the left side to throw it across the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of Colt Metters. And I think Colt may have looked up before the catch was secured in his hands. He may have heard some footsteps.
Well, that was one of those situations where, the pass was good. I really liked the pass. In fact, London Brown kind of showed really nice accuracy on that pass because there were 3 defenders in the vicinity. Does a good job of kind of threading it, but unfortunately, the receiver took a hit, and I think you're right. I think he heard the footsteps.
Two receivers to either side. Brown now going to run in the RPO to the right side, going to pitch it out to Beckworth, and he's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be, and maybe loss a yard. So it'll be 3rd down and 11 to go for the Wildcats. So again, 3rd down and long yardage. Wildcats have struggled in that. And so let's see if they can produce something here. Looking at coming up next year, the middle part of the offensive line, the 2 guards in the center are all juniors and sophomores. So that'll be good to have those guys coming back. Of course, London Brown, a sophomore, will be coming back as a returning quarterback. Many of the receivers are juniors and sophomores. So a lot of good things to look for in the future. Brown going down the left sideline. He's got a man open. Can he hit him? He's going to out-throw his coverage there as DeAndre Turner was wide open on the left sideline. And Brown lofted it up, but it's going to get past him, and so they'll have to punt it away.
Yeah, the ball just sailed on him a little bit, and ends up throwing it out of bounds a little bit. But good play call. Everything was executed perfectly. You just you want that pass to be a little bit more accurate, and you'd have had a big play.
Looking at the balance of the Wildcats, seniors, juniors, sophomores, so forth and so on. About 9 seniors on this team, 14 juniors, 12 sophomores. So a good percentage of the team coming back next year, as well as some players that will be coming up from the JV and the freshman team. A end-over-end kick, going to get past the return man to the 20, 15. He's kicking it. Let's see if the Wildcats can hop on it. They got a shot at it, but Pine Tree able to recover it inside the 5-yard line. So it'll be a good result for the Wildcats, and Cole James will get credit for a long punt there, but they were just a smidgen away from getting offensive possession inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, they were, and just a special teams error. Really, the punt returner really should have just held on. Well, not held on to it, but just let it go. But sometimes adrenaline takes over, right? And you think, hey, I can make something out of this, but that time had a hard time, catching the ball, getting his hands on it, securing it, and ends up first down from the 5. I don't know what that punt ended up being from your own 33 down to their 5, but that's pretty good.
That's very good. That'll increase the average a little bit.
Yes, it will.
2 receivers to the left-hand side, none to the right, but a man goes in motion now to the right side. He's going to line up right behind the right tackle, and a handoff is to the back, and he hits the hole around the right tackle and going to get across the 10 to about the 12-yard line, so a good gain for Pine Tree. They've run that formation a couple of times and had some success with that, riding right behind that extra blocker. 2:19 and counting down here in the first half. The Wildcat band has now made it down to the end zone, past the end zone, so I think we're going to hear from the Wildcat band. So if they hit the field at the beginning of halftime, that's what we'll take a listen to, and then we'll have our interview with Jason Marshall. 2 receivers to the left side. Man goes in motion from left to right, and then we got some extra movement, and now we're going to have a timeout call.
Yeah, the clock hit 2 minutes before. Yeah.
The 2-minute timeout. I finally figured out what to call it now. The 2-minute timeout. Still getting used to having that in high school football, but I think it's a good move to have that. And we don't need it for TV timeouts or anything like that, but just kind of good to give a little bit of a pause there right before the stretch run of half. But Wildcats have an opportunity to make a stop here, and if nothing else, to keep Pine Tree from putting a score on the board, even if they don't get the ball back.
Yeah, I was having a real good conversation the other day with my good friend Lucas, and we were talking about just what a crazy world it is now and how security has never been more important than it is today. And, of course, I told him, I said, all East Tex radio facilities are secured by J&B Security. Your eyes and your ears while you're home and when you're away, residential, commercial, and industrial, J&B Security, your local top-of-the-line security services for all your needs, j-bsecurity.com.
Second down and about 3 to go for the Pine Tree Pirates. 2 receivers to the left-hand side, tight formation on the right. Wing back on the left side now going in motion and lining up behind the right tackle. And Croft takes a snap. He's going to hand it to the back, who's mauled in the backfield pretty quickly. And so no positive yardage there, as I believe that was Ethan Thomas leading the charge there. No, that was Kenneth Ofushani on it. And so no gain on the play. It'll be, in fact, he's going to lose about a yard. Third down and a long 3 to go for the Pine Tree Pirates. So the Wildcats have an opportunity here to get the ball back if they can stop the Pirates from getting the first down here. 1:28 and counting down here in the second quarter. 2 receivers to the left side, wing back on the left side, assuming he's going to go in motion, and he does. This time he breaks out wide. Croft looking downfield to the left side. Got a man he was trying to hit, but the boss is taking care of that. Good coverage there on the intended receiver, Bass. And Savorian Martin doing what Savorian Martin does and making sure that that pass was not completed, and it'll force the Pirates into a punting situation.
Yeah, and that's really good because, number one, you pin them back on your punt. You give up minimal yardage. Now they're going to be punting from their 12-yard line or whatever it is, and really nice defensive coverage down there by Savorian Martin. And you're right. I mean, he had a match really step for step, and now, the defense is giving the offense a chance.
Whoa.
A penalty? Yeah, see, I was afraid of that. I thought there was movement, but I didn't see a flag, so I just went with it.
I didn't see the flag. I missed it. So the Wildcats were offsides, and so it'll be 1st and 10 for Pine Tree. So take all that back, hand off to the back coming through the middle, and he's going to get stopped quickly behind the line of scrimmage. Nice job on the Wildcats' pursuit there. That was Jason Applewhite making the stop. Going to lose about 3 yards on the first down play. So now less than a minute to go. You just want to contain the Pirates now and keep them from scoring and go to the locker room down by 2 scores with an opportunity to kind of regroup at halftime. Croft taking his time to get back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to not get any big rush either, but they hope that they're going to run off a long running play or something along those lines. 2 receivers to the left, single receiver to the right-hand side, wing back on the right side, single back in the backfield beside Croft. And he'll hand it off to the back coming around the left side, gets near the 20, goes down, and that'll put it with less than 20 seconds to go, and probably will not even snap the ball again. That was, once again, that was Attaway on the carry. And so I think they're just going to let the clock run out here. 11, 10, 9. Pine Tree is huddling it up, but there's certainly no urgency there, so I think we're going to see this go to the locker room with Pine Tree leading this one 21-7. So we'll be back with the Wildcat Band playing on the field here in just a moment. And then following that, we'll have our interview with Jason Marshall. And so stay tuned for all of those kind of things. Plus, Chris will have some stats. We'll look at the scores from around the area as we go to halftime. You're listening to Palestine Wildcat Football here on the E-Tex Radio Network. Stay tuned. More great stuff coming ahead.
Hey y'all, this is Ashton Elder with Elder Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Athens. Local high school athletics are the heart and soul of our community. We are honored to play a small role in bringing this live action to you, whether in the comfort of your own home or while on the road. Elder Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Athens wishes all of our athletes and their families the best of luck this season. We know you're proud of them, and we are too.
Elder in Athens, we've got your car.
Y también se habla español.
Life can bring unexpected challenges. When disaster strikes, Service Master by Brown Construction is here to get you back on track. Whether it's smoke and fire damage, water damage, or odor control, their team uses the latest technology to bring your home or business back to normal. Don't let the unexpected keep you down. Trust ServiceMaster by Brown Construction, servicing Anderson, Freestone, Henderson, and Rusk counties. Call 903-677-0209. ServiceMaster by Brown Construction, restoring what matters most.
KYYK Palestine, the morning mess with Cat Powers, and country's greatest hits all day. Kick 98.3, part of the E-Tex Radio Network.
Well, the Wildcat Band is out on the field getting ready to accompany the Kick Cats tonight. So glad to see them doing their halftime performance. They always do a fantastic job. And so we'll take a listen to the band and watch the Kick Cats.
Tonight, the Kit Kats will be performing a power routine to My Sharona.
Kick Cats doing a great job as always, accompanied by the Palestine Wildcat Band. And now the Palestine Wildcat Band getting ready for their portion of their halftime performance. Kit Kat performance is done and great as always. celebrations. Always a great entertainment portion of our halftime. And as we talk about a lot of times, it takes so many to make a high school football game happen. And it's not just about the players on the field. Of course, you got the cheerleaders and you got the band and the Kit Kats and all the fans in the stands, and it takes so many administrators and volunteers and workers, and it's just a community event and a great crowd on hand here tonight at Pine Tree High School. Big crowd, as a matter of fact. It's senior night here, and they recognize their seniors before the game tonight. And so the Wildcat Band getting ready for their portion of the halftime performance. So we want you to hear them for the last time this year. Of course, they got second division at marching contest this year. Had a great year, and looking forward to building towards the Winter Guard season and then the concert season, where they'll have concerts and concert contests and all that goes with that as well. So things continue to move on for the band even after marching season is done. So let's take a listen to the Wildcat Band and their halftime performance. Palestine Wildcat Band doing a great job.
I went to a doctor 2 weeks ago. He kind of gave me the things to not do. You know, because I was like, this is getting numbness in my hand. So he gave me a cortisone shot. He says, keep everything right here.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Do they think you tore like your rotator cuff?
Well, he had to push and pull and do all that. He's healed and good. You're not torn. He says, but you know, he wouldn't tell me if I was going to hurt the rest of my life. This sucks. Still can't wrap my head around mechanically what I did. So, because I hit perfectly on it. It's like running into a ball. I'm like, how do I hurt yourself? I thought that would be the safest way to win. Got all this twitch. No, it didn't work out that way. I mean, he did think I had a little bit of a turn. you hadn't built it.
Yeah, because you're moving to the essential stretching.
Go further. I'm trying to get my range of motion back.
That takes a long time with your shoulder. But keep at it. Do the exercises that stretches and stuff.
You didn't really tell me any of that. This was like, don't use it.
Yeah. Well, right now they probably just still want it to feel.
So give it a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks, and it's a little better. Still, it was kind of where it was when we heard it. I played in junior high. Depends on what you call high school. Pine Tree back then was what high school. It was now. After that, it was a year of soccer and then a year of physics. I knew I wasn't going to be a member, but I might as well get on the line, you know? So I went engineering. I've been going as much as I was going.
The Palestine Wildcat Band finishing their part of the performance by marching to the Palestine side of the field and giving the Palestine crowd a treat as they play the fight song, walking over to that side. Apologize for all the information about someone's rotator cuff issues. That is someone planted themselves in front of my crowd mic, which is down on another floor so I couldn't go down and address it. So anyway, apologize for that, but hopefully you got to enjoy the music in spite of all of that went on. So anyway, we've got about 14 and a half minutes left to go in halftime. We're going to take our break here and let you hear from Palestine ISD Superintendent Jason Marshall, as this was a big week for PISD as the bond passed, and so they'll be sharing a little bit about that as Larissa Lovelace sat down with him. So stay tuned. We're going to hear that here in just a moment as you listen to Palestine Wildcat football here on the E-Tex Radio Network.
Teamwork makes the dream work and prepares students for success in all areas of life. At Palestine ISD, our team is more than just the 12 players you see on the field. Our team includes everyone, from the cheerleaders to the band, and of course our amazing fans in the stands. Together, we're winners in the Wildcat Nation. Join the Palestine ISD team and see why so many educators and parents choose our district for their future. Palestine ISD, where teamwork makes the dream work, and every student matters.
Good evening. This is Larissa Lovelace with the Wildcat Nation Halftime Show. And this evening we have with us Mr. Marshall, Superintendent for Palestine ISD. And we've been talking about Bond 2025 for several weeks. And Mr. Marshall, I think we have some great news to report to our listeners this evening.
We sure do, Miss Lovelace. As everybody knows by now, our bond passed on Tuesday night. Pretty narrow margin. But I know everybody worked very hard to get that passed, and we certainly thank everybody for their participation. We thank our local taxpayers for reaching into their wallets and pulling out a few extra dollars a year to help us maintain our facilities and keep them in good working order for the next 20 years, and then for providing future opportunities for kids as they move out of Palestine High School into the workforce.
Absolutely, Mr. Marshall. So of all the things that were in Bond 2025, what do you see as the first thing that we might see happening from the actions?
I think that's a great question. As you know by now, a lot of the things that are repair-oriented on the campuses are on rooftops and things like that, which will not be very visible. I do think that on at least one of our campuses, probably Palestine Junior High and maybe even over at Washington this summer, we could get quickly started on roofing repairs and HVAC work. Probably what the community will notice the most, however, is on the north end of Palestine High School. We will begin the construction of an expanded career and technology center, and we'll start that this summer. And we think that that's about a 12 to 14 month build out, and so we hope by the start of the 2027 school year that our students will be able to use that new facility.
That'll be really exciting to see. And so you mentioned a little bit, Mr. Marshall, that some of these things would start this summer. And as we know, it's kind of like remodeling a house when you're living in it. We will have to have some patience from our employees and our staff and our parents. Some of the repairs on the campuses will go on during the year.
It's a great question. I think everybody would realize that when we're repairing roofs and we're taking off and removing air conditioning units on the top of buildings, that stuff can't be done during the school day. So I would say most likely over the next 3 summers of 26, 27, and 28, those things will take place, and then the bulk of the repair work will be done during the summertime. This coming summer inside the campuses will take place this summer and in the summer of 27.
Well, we're all certainly looking forward to that, and I know on our end with public relations, we're going to be keeping everybody updated with our website and with postings because it's an exciting part of our community as well as for our district. And as you said, people have given us a vote of confidence and trusted us with hard-earned taxpayer dollars, and we certainly want to include them in the process.
That's exactly right, and as we get started, we'll be naming a construction company in the next month or so. And just want anybody to know that if anybody wants to and has the ability to work on any of our facilities, that we certainly would love to spend this money as locally as we possibly can. So be in contact with us here at Central Office, and we'll see if we can't get you lined up with the overall construction company that will be supervising that project.
Absolutely. And, our office number is 903-731-8000. And if you have questions about how that process works or what Mr. Marshall's talking about as far as bidding and things of that nature, just call that number and we can certainly help you understand the process if you're interested in being part of it. So having said that, I'm going to say, go Wildcats.
Here are 10 good reasons to advertise on your E-Tex radio group in 30 seconds or less. Number 1, radio sells with immediacy. Number 2, radio sells everywhere. Number 3, radio sells with intimacy. Number 4, radio starts in the theater of the mind. Number 5, radio escapes advertisements clutter. Number 6, radio is the cost-effective medium. Number 7, radio sells with frequency. Number 8, radio targeting advertising sells. Number 9, you're always on the front page with radio. And number 10, radio's an active medium in an active society. And now you know. For more info, contact the E-Tex Radio Group.
KYYK Palestine, country's greatest hits, all part of the E-Tex Radio Network. Kick 98.3.
Halftime here at Pine Tree High School as the Palestine Wildcats trail 21-7. Pine Tree Band is out on the field now. And Chris, why don't you give us a little bit of statistical run from what we had in the first half?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. First downs, Palestine actually got 6 first downs in that first half, 7 for the Pirates. Third down efficiency, Palestine was 2 for 6. The Pirates only had 1 third down the entire first half, didn't convert it, so they are 0 for 1. Here's a big difference. So total yardage for Palestine, 68 total yards of offense. For the Pirates, 154. 31 through the air for Palestine, 63 through the air for Pine Tree. Let me see. Here's another big difference in the game. So running the ball, Palestine has run the ball 17 times for 37 yards. That's little under 2.2 yards per carry. But for Pine Tree, they've carried the ball 14 times for 91 yards. That's an average of 6.5 yards per carry. But the first 11 carries for Pine Tree got them 88 yards. And so as late in the second half, Wildcats did a much better job against the run. Brought that down a little bit. Penalties, still a problem for Palestine. 5 penalties in the first half, only 23 yards. 1 penalty for Pine Tree that for 6 yards. Neither team with a turnover, although the Wildcats did have 2 first half fumbles. That they managed to fall on. Terrible radio there, right there. I apologize. Individually for the Wildcats, London Brown passing 5 out of 9 for 31 yards. Rushing the ball, London Brown leading, Braylon Beckworth leading rusher, 9 carries for 27 yards. London Brown, 7 carries for 18 yards. And, of course, he has the one touchdown. Receiving, let me see, Braylon Beckworth with 1 reception for 13 yards. Don Brooks, 1 reception for 13 yards. C.J. Jones, 1 reception for 9 yards.
All right, so that kind of gives you kind of a statistical outlay, and it reminds me of a couple of things, Chris. And you go back to some key plays in the first half. Of course, Pine Tree on the first drive had the long 40-yard pass play right at the beginning of the game, and that led to their first touchdown. Then the second touchdown came on the interception, which really was literally a ball that went right through the hands of Braylon Beckworth into the defender's hands and just was a gift. So you take a couple of those big plays away, and this is a different-looking ball game. The Wildcats have really been competitive here tonight.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, the only real big drive for Pine Tree tonight was their second to the last one in the first half, where they went 75 yards in 6 plays and scored the touchdown. And of course, that was immediately following the Wildcats touchdown. But really, outside of that, I mean, you're exactly right. The first touchdown, it only covered 59 yards, but 47 of those came on that pass play. So you take away that pass play, and you've got a real chance at holding them out of the end zone. And then the second one, like you said, the ball just rifled in there. Beckworth couldn't hang on to it, and the receiver the defender just right place, right time more than anything else. But Palestine, they've hung in there. They've put together some nice drives tonight. They've got one that's 7 plays for 27 yards and a touchdown. Obviously, their best drive. But they're in this game. It's only a 2-score game. It's halftime now. Pine Tree gets the ball first, and so you're going to have to come up with a defensive stop. But you get that defensive stop, and then if you're able to punch it in from there, it's a 1-score game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you just take that into the second half, and you think, 1 or 2 big plays for the Wildcats, get a few stops that you need to, and this could look a lot different here in the second half. Now, with that said, on the side of fairness, the Wildcats have struggled in the second half here in district play.
Yeah, they have, and that's just part of learning how to win, and that's what Coach Reyes talked about in the pregame interview, where he said, we have to learn how to win. When you're part of a program that has won, 1 game last year, right?
Yep.
1 game so far this year. I mean, you have to, that winning is. I don't know what the breakdown is between physical and mental, but I know the mental side of it is huge.
Yeah.
And
probably in football more so than many sports.
I would imagine that's the case, for sure. And so, because, you're going to face adversity in games. And, Wildcats are facing adversity here down 2 touchdowns at halftime. But that's going to happen. I mean, even your best teams, have a game somewhere along the line that they could drop, and they just have to be mentally tough enough to be able to fight through and come through with the victory. And sometimes that takes a while to develop for a team.
Take a look at some of the scores from around the area. Kilgore defeated Maybank last night, 56-6. Fairfield is leading Crockett, 35-14. Jewett-Leon leading Groveton, 42-0. It is Frankston leading Cayuga, 28-7. Grapeland leading Lovelady, 35-7. Diboll leading Tig, 23-13. There was some question about how that game might go because Tig has really done well in district play, but Diboll looks like they're well on the way to winning that, but there's still 10 minutes left to go in that game. Pleasant Grove from Texarkana area is leading Van 42-0. Oakwood defeated Trinidad 52-0 tonight. Palestine Westwood 28, Huntington 12, and that's a third quarter score. So Westwood still holding the lead there. And, of course, they had a big announcement this week as well, as their quarterback is going to be going to Texas Tech. And so he and Savorian Martin will be teaming up there for the Texas Tech Red Raiders next year. Troop leading Buffalo 7-6 at halftime. Carthage leading Brownsboro 35-0. It is New Diana leading Elkhart 30-23, so the Elks have a chance there in the second half. Rusk leading Center 14-13. Athens leading Bullard 35-21, so that's getting to look more like we thought that game was going to look now as the Athens Hornets looking to finish off with a win. But that is a halftime score, so anything could happen. Been a lot of offense there. Lindale leading Henderson 35-7. I'm going to come back to that in a second. And then Malakoff is leading Winsboro 10-7. Now, Chris, we were talking earlier about how things have shaped up in this district race, and how Lindale probably was looking at maybe the third or fourth seed coming into the season, but now has cemented their place as the second seed behind Kilgore. Their only district loss was to Kilgore, and they are pounding the Henderson Lions tonight, 35-7.
Yeah, and I didn't get to do the Kilgore game with you. I think I had some family things. No, that was the one that was moved to Thursday. Yeah. So I had a ministry situation that I had to take care of. So I didn't see them, but I did see Lindale. And, with Lindale, from my eyes, it's hard to find a weakness with that team.
Yeah.
Big, strong offensive line. They can beat you with the pass. They can beat you with the run. They're tough and physical on defense. They're going to be a handful in the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, I really believe that you're going to see the first round is going to be probably the toughest for a couple of these teams. Kilgore and Pine Tree, Lindale, Chapel Hill, all four of those can do some damage. If they get past the first round, they could probably go 3-4 rounds deep. And, of course, it's not unusual to see two teams from this district meet in the quarterfinals. And so we'll see if that happens. So we'll wish our best to all those that will be moving forward. And, of course, hoping the next year that the Wildcats will be amongst that bunch. And another thing to look for, folks, and this will be something to watch around the first of the year, as the redistricting will take place, and it will be announced on February the 1st. I asked Coach Rays about that this week, and if he had any sense about where the Wildcats were going to end up, and he said no, he's got some thoughts and some preferences there, but there is a possibility that the Wildcats could remain in 4A Division I, and there's a distinct possibility that the Wildcats could drop down to 4A Division II, which would make everything look a lot different. There's also some speculation that Lindale could possibly go back up to 5A. There's some speculation that Jacksonville could drop back down to 4A, and there's some speculation that Pine Tree could go back up to 5A. So there's a lot of things that are going to happen between now and next year. Of course, in the meantime, we've got basketball coming, we've got baseball, we've got soccer, and all kinds of spring sports. We've got track and field and tennis and all those different kind of things. So our next broadcast for you as far as Palestine sports will be January the 9th, as it'll be Palestine Wildcats and Lady Cats basketball. We'll start with the Lady Cats. So we'll have a couple of games before the Wildcats start district play. And then on most of those nights, it'll be Wildcats and Lady Cats playing, and we'll have those games for you. Those will be audio only on radio and on etexradio.live. You can listen to those anywhere in the world. But so this thing could look a whole lot different next year. And you're going to, as you go back and look after the playoffs begin, Chris, you're going to see even more so evidence that this district is one of the toughest in the state in any class.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that that's true. And we knew that coming into this season, obviously with all of the preseason, rankings and so forth, we knew what, some of these teams and how highly they were thought of around the state. And I think this season has only borne that out. I mean, obviously you got to think that Kilgore is a big threat to bring home another trophy. But, like I was just saying, Lindale, I think Lindale could get on a run and do it. And you're right, that first game is huge. And, also for, they're not part of our district, but they are part of our broadcasting family. You look at the Athens Hornets.
Yes.
That's another team that could get on a run and go pretty deep. They've got a big one next week against Gilmore. But if they win that, they could go 3-4 rounds deep too. I mean, East Texas is tough when it comes to high school football. I mean, at every level. I mean, you find state championship caliber teams, plural, not singular.
Yeah. Well, and of course, Oakwood has had some success in the past as well. They're always a threat in the 6A. And this year, you got to look at Frankston in the 2A because they're undefeated. It looked like they're going to finish the season totally undefeated. And they've just got a good run of athletes right now. And again, they could get on a run in the playoffs. And then, of course, Cayuga is going to be in the playoffs as well. They always have a good program. Westwood, they're getting into the playoffs, it looks like. And, of course, last year they went undefeated in the regular season and got to the third round of the playoffs. And so if they get everything moving in the right direction, they could make some noise. And Fairfield, not in our coverage area, but right on that East Texas line there. And, my goodness, they have had a great season as well. So East Texas is going to be very well represented as they go forward. But I don't think there's any stronger presence than than in the 4A Division One. Now in Division Two, you mentioned Athens. Of course, we're hoping those Hornets go a long way, but also in that district is the Carthage Bulldogs with 10 state championships under Coach Scott Surratt, to their credit as well. So there's going to be a lot of East Texas noise in these playoffs, and we hope that you'll keep following those things, and we hope that you'll keep staying tuned to KYYK and all Palestine Wildcats and Lady Cat sports. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the second half, as we're about ready to kick it off here as you're listening to Palestine Wildcat football here on the E-Tex Radio Network at KYYK.
This Saturday is the annual Veterans Day Parade, November 8th at 10 a.m. in Palestine. The parade will go down the traditional parade route and end at the Palestine Farmers Market. If you would like to participate in the parade, contact the Palestine Visitor Center. After the parade, stop by and shop the Palestine Farmers Market, open this Saturday from 9 to 1 and this Sunday from 10 to 1, located at the Farmers Market Pavilion on Spring Street.
Well, the Pine Tree Pirates are getting ready to get out on the field. The Wildcats are already set. They're going to be kicking it off as Pine Tree won the toss at the beginning of the game, and they elected to defer to the second half. So Colt James will be kicking it off, going from right to left for the Wildcats, who trailed 21-7. Excuse me, but just a couple of breaks away from being right even in this matchup. So we'll see if they can turn that around here in the second half. Colt with a high end over end kick. Going to hit it about the 10-yard line. Return man's going to take it up to 20, 25, 30. Got a little room to run, but the Wildcats bringing him down. He's going to bring it out to the 40-yard line. And that return man did a good job of dragging the pile from the 30 to the 40-yard line. Excello Brickbow finally bringing him down.
Yeah, you usually expect your return men to be little fast guys that, maybe aren't known for just power running, but man, that guy was.
He sure was. And so that gives Pine Tree great field position to start the game, or to start the second half here. They'll be from their own 40-yard line. And Colton Croft, the quarterback, number 31, the junior, one of the largest guys on the field, but also a good athlete. Doesn't pass the ball a lot, but has been effective when he's attempted to do that. First down and 10. Two receivers wide to the right. Tight formation on the left side. Croft hands it off up the middle, and he's going to get a first down and more into Wildcat territory to inside the 45-yard line, and that is going to be Jacarius Timmons on the first carry of the second half.
Yeah, they ran that play in the first half where they bring the tight end in motion, and that's exactly where they go with the play, and they did it again.
And so we go to first down and 10 for the Pine Tree Pirates. Single receiver to either side, single back in the backfield. And Croft hands it off to Timmons coming up the middle, and he's going to get across the 40 to about the 35. I mentioned earlier that we were going to be talking about a particular honor that Savorian Martin got recently, and I neglected to mention that at halftime, so I'm going to talk about that after this play here as the Pine Tree Pirates come up with second down and 3 to go. Pretty significant honor. And also mentioned another one that's coming for a Wildcat player as well. Second down and 3 to go for the Pirates. Single receiver to either side. Tight formation on the left side. He goes in motion and lines up right behind the right guard. Croft hands it off to the back coming off the right side. He's going to hit hard at the line and going to be stuffed. It's Excello Brickbow making the stop. Savorian Martin last week before the game, as they're going to say, got enough for the first down. So Savorian Martin got an honor before the game last week as they were announcing the seniors at senior night that he was selected to play in the Navy All-American Bowl. And that'll be on Saturday, January the 10th at the Alamo Dome. And that's not just a Texas All-Stars. That is from all over the country, 4- and 5-star players. And so that is a significant honor given to Savorian Martin. So we'll be wishing him the very best going into that Navy All-American Bowl, Saturday, January 10th at the Alamo Dome. Back takes the handoff on the right side, going around the right, and he's going to get stopped pretty quickly, but he's going to get 3 or 4 yards. See where they spot it. And that's been consistent with these Pine Tree ball carriers. Roger Attaway on the carry.
Yeah, you're talking about Savorian Martin with that invitation to that bowl game. I mean, some of the greatest players in college football history have played in that thing, and That's one that I watch every year because I've been following college recruiting for a long time and my Longhorns, you know, and so on and so forth. And so I'll be tuning in that day for sure.
Second down and about 6 to go for the Pirates. Croft hands it off to Timmons up the middle, and he's going to get close to first down yardage. Wildcats converging on him, but I think it's going to be enough yardage for another first down. Another honor was given as Colt James, and Coach Ray's mentioned it in his pregame comments, that Colt James will be playing, I believe it's called the Bayou Bowl. It is another all-star type game, and so looking forward to him playing in that. That'll be in the Houston area. And so a good honor for Colt James to finish off his senior year. Single receiver to either side. First and 10 for Pine Tree at about the 20-yard line. Single back in the backfield. Croft takes a snap, hands off to Timmons, going off left guard. And he's threading the needle a little bit, getting down to the 15. 5-yard gain on the first down play for Timmons. Or maybe 6 yards. And they're just methodically moving the ball down the field. The Wildcats going to stiffen up here on the run defense to try to get a chance to get back in this game.
And they're not doing anything fancy, are they? I mean, they're just running the ball right up the middle. That time they pulled the guard, and that running back just got behind the big fella and just, peeled off 6-7 yards.
First down on the second down play. He's going to be given to the back coming up the middle, and he's going to get enough for the first down. They're going to bring it inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal for Pine Tree. Wildcats made a change on the defensive line there as they brought in Calhoun to try to get a little more bulk in there in place of Ofashini. But Pine Tree able to continue to move the ball inside the 10-yard line to about the 8.5. It'll be first and goal for the Pirates, just shy of the 8-yard line. 7:52 to go here in this third quarter as Pine Tree continuing to just run time off the clock and move the ball down the field. Croft takes a snap, hands it off to Timmons. He's hit hard at the line. This time they were able to get him before he gets too much. Get about a yard on the play. It'll be goal to go still for the Pine Tree Pirates as they switch out the H-back for the running back. Timmons is going to check in now. Second down. Ball spotted at the 7-yard line. Single receiver to either side. Tight formation on the right. Single back in the backfield is Timmons beside quarterback Croft. Croft hands it off to Timmons, cuts it back up the middle, and he gets inside the 5 to about the 2-yard line. So it'll be third down and goal from about the 2-yard line. Let's see if the Pine Tree Pirates can put it in here, but the Wildcats are going to do their best to stop it, and they're going to spot it at the 3-yard line. So it'll be third down and goal from the 3. Pirates leading this one 21-7. Wildcats up against the wall here. Single receiver to either side. Single back in the backfield. Croft takes a low snap and hands it off to Timmons. He's met at the line and not going to get it, so it'll be decision time for the Pirates as the Wildcats. Cason Applewhite comes up holding his hand or arm, and he made the stop. Did a great job of the defensive play there, and he's going to try to stay in this game, but he is hurting right now. Pine Tree looks like they're going to go for it here on fourth down. Fourth down and goal from the 5-yard line as Croft gets the play in from the sideline.
Yeah, that play was kind of doomed from the start with the low snap. It just kind of set everything back, but nice job by the Wildcat defense to recover and really kind of, I think he lost 2 yards on that play.
Fourth down and goal from the 5. Watch for the trick play here as they're going to try to draw some people off sides, and looks like Coach Ray's is going to call a timeout. He saw something he did not know what was going on, or not that he didn't know what was going on, but something he didn't like, and so we're going to kind of take a regroup there.
Well, I was talking to my good friend Jeremy the other day. Jeremy's been all over the country, and we were talking about barbecue. You don't have to talk to me very long to learn that I really love barbecue. In fact, we have barbecue on the way up here, Tony.
Did.
But for great barbecue and friendly service in Palestine, check out Country Peas Barbecue and Catering. They're located at 1101 West Palestine Avenue. Country Peas is open 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Wednesday to Saturday and 11 to 4 p.m. on Sundays. Country Peas Barbecue and Catering, 903-373-2815.
5:35 to go in the third quarter. Wildcats have an opportunity to get the ball back here if they can make a stop here on 4th and goal by the Pine Tree Pirates. Pine Tree coming up in a tight formation. They had set a different formation a moment ago. Now they've got 2 receivers wide to the left, single receiver wide to the right, single back in the backfield. H-back also lined up on the right-hand side. Croft takes a snap. He's rolled to the left side. He's going to look to throw across his body. Got a man open in the back of the end zone, but did he make the catch in the end zone? And he did. He had to do some dancing to get the ball in bounds, and it was Desmond Williams making the catch for a touchdown. So Wildcats can't get the ball back. Pine Tree extends the lead to 27-7.
The Wildcats actually defended that pretty well. Just Williams was able to get behind the defense, and nice pass there. And it was just kind of one of those things where, you did a lot right on that play defensively, but the one guy that, got open on you was the guy that comes down with the ball.
So Ibarra is attempting the extra point. He is 3 for 3 on the night. And they go from the swinging gate formation into the traditional extra point formation. Snap is good, kick is up, and it's good. And Ibarra is good. 4 for 4 tonight as Pine Tree now leads this one 28-7 with 5:28 to go in the third quarter. So the Wildcats had an opportunity there on 4th and goal, could not get the ball back. And let's see if their offense can make something happen here as they're looking to get back into this ball game. Look at some of the other scores from around the area. Fairfield is leading Crockett in the fourth quarter, 48-14. Jewett-Leon leading Groveton 42-0 in the third quarter. It is Frankston leading Cayuga 34-7 in the fourth quarter. So it looks like Frankston's going to finish this season undefeated. Grapeland leading Lovelady 42-27 in the third quarter. Diboll leading Tig 23-13 with 2 minutes to go in the game. So Diboll looking like they're going to win that game. Pleasant Grove leading Van 49-0 in the third quarter. Oakwood defeated Trinidad 52-0. Westwood leading Huntington 42-12 in the fourth quarter. So Westwood firmly in the driver's seat in that game now. Troop leading Buffalo 7-6. Carthage leading Brownsboro 35-0. New Diana leading Elkhart 30-23. Rusk leading Center 14-13. Athens leading Bullard 35-21. Lindell leading Henderson 35-7. And of course, Malakoff leading Winsboro 10-7. Kick is taken by the up man. It's going to be Colt Metters is going to be taking it across the 25-yard line. Punishes one potential tackler, and he gets up a little bit slow, but Wildcats will take it 1st and 10 from their own 28. 5:22 to go here in the third quarter. Let's see if the Wildcats offense can get something going here. That was a substantial drive from Pine Tree, Chris. They reeled off nearly 7 minutes of possession to start this third quarter.
Yeah, it was their best drive of the night. In fact, it was 11 plays, 60 yards, and you're right on the time. And it was all, until the last play, it was all just running plays, 4, 5, 6 yards at a time.
London Brown takes a snap. Looks like there was a little bit of confusion in the backfield. He's going to keep it and going to get bottled up. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. But the Wildcats, it looked like London turned to the left side and nobody was there that he was expecting. So I'm not sure if there was a little confusion there or not. But either way, the Wildcats end up getting about a half a yard progress. So it'll be 2nd down and 9. 2 receivers wide to the left, single receiver wide to the right. Quinn Marshall, the H-back on the right side. Beckworth is the back in the backfield, along with London Brown. 4:47 to go in the third quarter. Brown hands it off to Beckworth, comes off left tackle, 25, hits one defender and takes the pile forward across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Nice looking run there from Beckworth. He does a good job of punishing those defenders that are trying to get him.
Yeah, he does, and that time, he's trying to get the corner, but it's just not there. Cuts it upfield and lowers his head and manages to rumble. I think he ends up picking up 6 yards maybe. Yeah. Pretty nice carry.
3rd down and about 4 to go for the Wildcats. We'll see if they can convert here. Brown hands it off to Beckworth. This time he cuts it up the middle. He's going to get the first down and more. Midfield, 40, 30, 20, one man to beat, 10, 5, touchdown, Wildcats! Braylon Beckworth takes it in from 64, 65, 66 yards, and it's going to be a touchdown for the Wildcats.
Yeah, just a good, and we just talked about what a physical runner is. That time he shows his speed, and he gets to that second level and no one can touch him. He outruns, several of the Pine Tree defensive backs and safeties, and really nice answer there for the Wildcats, kind of just hanging in there. And that's what you want to do in a game when you're the underdog. You just want to hang in there, hang around, and then, pop something in the fourth quarter.
Cole James with the kick, and it's going to be good, and he's perfect from extra points this season. And now the Wildcats, it's a 2-point game now, or 2-score game rather, as with 3:55 to go here in the third quarter. It is Pine Tree 28, Wildcats 14. I want to make a mention about something on that play, Chris, as well as Beckworth made a nice cut right behind the line of scrimmage, found the seam, and so let's give credit to the middle part of that offensive line for giving him that room to run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure that Pine Tree even got a hand on him, but Beckworth, in a situation like that, you've got to have the vision to be able to see where the hole is, and that time he did, and fantastic play, big play. One of the longer plays from scrimmage this year. I think I'd have to go back and really look at that, but I'm not saying it's the longest, but it's certainly in that category.
Yeah, it certainly is. Pine Tree, looking at their schedule through the season, they had 2 losses to start the season. Lost to Gilmer 41-25 and DeVan 38-21. Then they had a couple of victories versus Dallas Carter, 46-29, and then over Hallsville, 28-21. And then as they started district, they lost to Kilgore 35-6, and then they defeated Maybank 64-8. So they're 1-1 there at the open week. And then they defeated Henderson soundly 49-21, and you began to think that Pine Tree was for real. The kick is taken at the 10-yard line across the 20, 25, 30. 35 got a little seam to run off of midfield. Colt James is going to be called on to make the tackle across midfield at about the 42-yard line. So unfortunately, the Wildcats special team surrenders a big return there. And now Ashton Cook looks like he's down on the sideline. Maybe an ankle is injured there as Coach Coyne is coming out to attend to him right now. Looks like he's in some significant pain. Getting back to thinking about the Pine Tree Pirates, of course, they defeated Henderson 49-21. That's when you begin to think, hey, these guys are for real. And then they defeated Chapel Hill 35-28. And you said, okay, not only are they for real, they are definitely going to be in the playoff hunt. Then they lost to Lindale last week 17-10, but they made me just as much a credit to the Lindale team as it was to anything else. And so Pine Tree certainly has made their presence known. Now, Ashton Cook has hopped up, and he's limping off, but he is walking under his own power, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, it is. And you look at this Pine Tree team and you think about their prospects for the playoffs. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, they've got the offensive line. They're big and physical. The only thing you wonder about them is, do they have the passing game? Because at some point in the playoffs, you've got to be able to throw the ball. And do they have the ability to do that in crunch time?
Single receiver to either side, single back in the backfield, tight formation. Man goes in motion, hand off to the back. Timmons coming out on the right side across the 40-yard line to about the 40. About the 39, going to be a gain of about 4 on the play. And one thing we can say about Pine Tree is they're pretty technically sound as well, and that makes a big difference in this kind of situation. They don't have the explosiveness that we see from maybe like a Lindale or certainly a Kilgore, but they've been very efficient. We saw that no better than on that last drive where they just methodically ran the ball down the field, taking what the defense would give them. 2 receivers to the left side, 2nd down and 7 to go. Single back in the backfield. Croft will hand it. Well, he's going to do a play action and throw it across the middle and hits it pretty low. And so that's going to fall incomplete. And so if they have to beat somebody passing, I'm not sure how effective they would be there.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I could say about them. It looks like, so... And that's a case in point. There wasn't any real pressure on the quarterback that I saw. He had plenty of time, but he just kind of short-hopped it to his receiver. And, that's a play. And the receiver, he was open. It wasn't like a defender made a great play on the ball or anything. He just threw it about 6 inches in front of the guy.
2 receivers wide to the left-hand side. A little movement at the line. Let's see if there's a penalty flag as he tries to go downfield to the left side. And just in and out of the hands, he actually dropped it into the receiver pretty well and could not hold on to it. He had 1 step on the defender.
Yeah, there is a flag, and it was thrown by this umpire down here closest to us, and I think that's going to be offsides.
Wildcats have consistently tried to get the edge on the defensive line, but to the point of sometimes jumping way out in front, and they did on that play as well. So it's going to put the ball down to near the first down marker and give them another play, 3rd down and short to go for the Pine Tree Pirates. And, you know, we don't know the history here. Garland Croft here is, or Colton Croft rather, big number 31. He may not have always been a quarterback, you know.
No, I mean, in fact, he looks like a fullback or a linebacker.
He does. Handoff up the middle is going to be a first down and much more. Going to go all the way to the house. So Timmons is going to answer the Wildcats with a touchdown of his own of significant run. And so it'll be 34-14 with the extra point attempt coming up with 2:51 to go in the 3rd quarter. So just like that.
Yeah, and that'll push their rushing numbers to 26 rushes for 183 yards, a little over 7 yards a carry, and 3 of their touchdowns have come on the ground tonight.
So moving to the playoffs, Pine Tree certainly can play some ball control. And now they do run the swinging gate, and let's see if they get it into the end zone. They're going to be awfully close. I think they're going to be just, nope, they say they got it in.
Well, one guy down here said they got it in, but the other guy, yeah, he did motion, didn't he? Yep.
And I know this doubles as their soccer field, and they've got the lines out there. And every time I look at that spot that's right in front of where the extra point slashes in the center of the field, there's a little yellow block.
It looks like a flag.
It looks like a flag.
Yeah.
And there's been several times when I've said, okay, there's a penalty. But then I realized that, no, that is part of the soccer field. So 36-14 now. Pine Tree leads this one. They saw what they wanted to see to try to take advantage of that swinging gate, and they get it. And so maybe the Wildcats relaxed a little bit there and didn't get what they needed to do to get ready for it. But in any event, it's 36-14. The Wildcats get the ball back here with 2:51 to go in the 3rd quarter.
And, of course, the Wildcats will be looking to repeat their success from their last drive when it didn't take very long. 3 plays, 72 yards, and they'll try to answer and stay within striking distance here.
And a good kickoff return would certainly work towards that. They've been kicking it very short. Colt Metters got several. Now they stuck C.J. Jones in there on that spot where Colt was, and he had a pretty good return on the last one. Let's see if he gets a chance to run it now. Ibarra, the left-footed kicker, going to take it from the 40-yard line, a high end-over-end kick. And Jones dropping back, going to get it at the 20-yard line, 25. Up to the 30. Rather, that is Colt Metters across the 30 to the 32. But he loses the ball, and Pine Tree picks it up, and then there's flags flying everywhere. But I think all of that came after Pine Tree got possession of the ball. So Colt Metters took it up across the 30-yard line and evidently lost the ball in the midst of the process of all that. But there was flags that came in late, but those seemed to take place after the change of possession. So don't expect the Wildcats are going to get the ball back here. Expect Pine Tree is going to take over inside Wildcat territory, inside their 30-yard line, and probably even further inside that after the penalty yardage is marked off.
Yeah, I think the only thing you can hope for if you're the Wildcats is that the penalty's maybe going to be a hold on the return or something like that, but it's certainly not what you needed in that moment.
The man in the white hat has given us the penalty. It's going to be a face mask called against the Wildcats. So that's going to give Pine Tree the ball, 1st and 10 inside the 20-yard line after the fumble and the penalty. So a double whammy against the Wildcats. And so any hopes of the Wildcats getting back into this game quickly certainly have gone away. They need to get a stop here or cause a turnover of their own. 2 receivers to the left, single receiver to the right. Wing back on the right side, single back in the backfield with Croft. Colton Croft, the junior quarterback. 2:43 to go in the 3rd quarter. Croft takes a snap. He's going to hand it off to the back coming through the middle, and he's going to push the pile inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. Roger Attaway and Jacarius Timmons have made a pretty good two-headed monster running the ball for the Pine Tree Pirates. I don't believe we've seen Croft run it at all. He has been just the field general, making the decisions and throwing the occasional pass, and done a good job with that. 2:15 and counting down here in the 3rd quarter. It'll be 2nd down and about 4 to go. 2 receivers to the left, single receiver to the right. And we've seen often when they split those 2 receivers out at the wide side, they tend to throw it that way. Let's see if they choose to go that way here. Croft takes a snap. This time he is going to hand it off to Attaway, and he's getting bottled up at the line. Gets a yard or two up to about the 6. So it's going to be close to the first down marker. Well, now are they going to give him the forward progress? Continues to go as the head linesman had kind of stopped the action, and then he started running towards the middle of the field.
Yeah, I think they're going to put it down at the 6. Well, maybe not.
And I think there may have been a little extracurricular activity going in there as well. So, they are going to spot it at the 6. Don't see any penalty flags, but there certainly was the potential for some there. So it'll be third down and about 2 to go. Wildcats getting the defensive set, and then Coach Ray's is what's hotter than hot? Blistering?
Scorching, maybe?
Scorching. He is scorching.
How about that?
He was kindly asked to go back to his place on the sidelines, and now he's advanced up to having a conversation with the officials. He saw something that he thought his young men were taking advantage of, and he's trying to explain his side of it. I will say this about Coach James Ray's: he will defend his men all day long, and I appreciate that about him. He will stand up for them all the time.
Yeah, there's no question about that. We've seen that several times this year, and I think, as a player, that's all you can ask for, is a coach that, has your back and is willing to, argue your case. You don't want the players doing it, obviously.
Right.
And so, if you don't want the players doing it, then when it's called for, the head coach has got to do it.
Yep.
And Coach Reyes has shown that he's willing to.
So it'll be third down and a yard to go from about the 6 for Pine Tree. 2 receivers to the left, single receiver to the right, single back in the backfield with the quarterback Colton Croft. Wing back on the right side. Croft hands it off. Then they bobble it. Wildcats are going to fall on it. That's what they needed. That's exactly the break that the Wildcats needed. And they're going to get the fumble recovery and get the ball turned over the other way. Jakari McKinley falls on that fumble. It's just a little bobble from Croft was enough for the Wildcats to get it back.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all you need. And really, after a pretty clean first half, Palestine fumbled the ball actually twice in the first half, but managed to recover it both times. Now on back-to-back, well, not so much drives, but a special teams play, and then when Pine Tree gets the ball, then you've got back-to-back turnovers, back-to-back fumbles.
So let's see if the Wildcats can make them pay for it here by getting a scoring drive. 2 receivers to the left side, 2 receivers to the right side. Single back in the backfield is Beckworth. Man goes in motion from left to right. That's Turner. And he's going to get the outlet pass completed about the 6-yard line, across the 10, trying to cut it up the middle, and not going to get much happening there. Or back towards the middle, I should say. So he's going to get forward progress of about a 2-yard gain. Wildcats have done a little more of that tonight, getting those quick outs, whether it's to the back out of the backfield or a man coming in motion. They've had some success with that to kind of get a guy as he's moving forward to catch the ball on the run and where he's already got a head of steam going. And, of course, the Wildcats have those outstanding, talented receivers. Second down and 8 to go. 2 receivers to either side spread out for the Wildcats. Brown was not expecting the snap, and Beckworth's going to fall on it. Well, no, he's going to pick it up and try to run with it. Close to the end zone. Now he's going to bring it out to nearly the line of scrimmage. London Brown had looked away, not expecting the snap. It came a beat quicker than he thought. And so the Wildcats, thanks to Braylon Beckworth, alert, falling on grabbing the ball and running forward with it, are going to get just a couple of yards lost on it. Could have been much more disastrous than that. Third down and 12.
It really could have. And really, you need 2 things there. You need the situational awareness to grab the ball, but you also need the athletic ability to actually be able to pick it up without dropping it.
That's going to bring us to the end of the third quarter. So the Pine Tree Pirates extend their lead to 36-14. We'll be back with the fourth quarter in just a moment. Stay tuned with us as you're listening to Palestine Wildcat Football here on the E-Tex Radio Network.
Around Around here, we live and breathe high school sports. That's why E-Tex Radio Group brings you sports information hourly on this station. Every hour, we'll recap the day's big games, big plays, and big players from all of our area high schools and colleges. Plus, we'll make sure you know which big games to catch next. Local sports lives here. East Texas Sports, only on this E-Tex Radio Group station.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
KYYK Palestine. Crank it up. You've got country's greatest hits. Kick 98.3.
Heading into the fourth quarter, the Wildcats trail at 36-14, but have just made some good things happen here by avoiding a potentially devastating play as Braylon Beckworth picked up the fumble around the end zone and brought it back out. But it's a third down and long situation even now for the Wildcats. Third down and about 12 to go. See if they can make something happen here. Two receivers to either side. Brown looking to the right side, flushed out of the pocket. Going to take it and run. Not going to get the first down. He's going to get out of bounds at about the 16-yard line, about 4 yards short. So with fourth down and 4, seems pretty obvious the Wildcats would punt it away here.
Boy, Cummings did a good job there, picking up the outside linebacker on a blitz. Just, did enough to kind of disrupt him and knock him off course. Nice job there by Cummings, because that's not always an easy thing to do for a running back.
So be fourth down and about 4 to go. Wildcats will punt it away here. Not a lot of change as we look at the scores from around the area. Fairfield leading Crockett 48-21. That's a third quarter score. Jewett-Leon over Groveton. That's a final now 42-0. Frankston finishes the undefeated season 34-7 over Cayuga. Grapeland leading Lovelady 49-35. Colt James gets a good snap. Kick is almost blocked, but it's going to be a high end over end pit, and he loses it. Let's see who bounces on it. I think Pine Tree was able to recover it, but my goodness, the opportunity was there for a moment as the return man was not able to field it securely. And Diboll defeats Tig 23-13, so they secured their spot there. Pleasant Grove defeats Van, or is defeating Van late in the game 56-7. Oakwood defeated Trinidad 52-0. Westwood defeated Huntington 49-12, so the Westwood Panthers secure their spot in the playoffs. Troop leads Buffalo 7-6. Carthage leads Brownsboro 42-0. New Diana leads Elkhart 44-23. Rush leads Center 20-13. First down and 10 for the Pine Tree Pirates. Ball spotted at their own 45-yard line. And Croft hands it off to the back. He's hit hard at the line, going to be driven back and able to spin it forward a little bit. Jamarcus Brumley on the tackle, and on the carry was Calvin Casey. First time he's carried the ball tonight. Athens is leading Bullard 42-21. Lindale is leading Henderson 42-7. And then Malakoff is leading Winsboro 10-7. Second down and 9+ to go for the Pirates. 10:25 to go in the season for the Palestine Wildcats. And we'll have our player of the game for you at the end of tonight's action in our postgame show. Single receiver to either side. Croft jumps up to get the snap and hands it off to the back. Comes off left tackle. He's going to be taken down by Kai Briscoe at about the midfield stripe, just across midfield. It's going to be third down and 4 to go. Wildcats with an opportunity to make a stop here. So as we take a look at some of the standings around the area, of course, Fairfield's going to finish 5-0, more than likely. Tig going to finish 2-3. Westwood will finish 3-2. Diboll 3-2. So that means Westwood gets the second seed in that district. So that's good news for Panther fans. Third down and 3 to go for the Pirates. Croft will hand it off up the middle. Going to be hit hard at the line. Driven back. Not going to get the first down. Cohen Thomason and Excello Brickbow in there He's going to get credit for about a half a yard, so it'll be 4th down at about 3. I would expect the Pirates to punt it away here, and that's what they're going to do with the 36-14 lead. And that'll give the Boss one more opportunity to return a punt.
Well, very similar to the first half. I mean, outside of a couple, obviously the first drive coming out of halftime was something for Pine Tree, but their other touchdown came on a long run, kind of a big play. I mean, there's a lot to like.
Spiraling punt going to be bouncing about the 15. Boss is going to let it go about the 9-yard line, and wisely did not try to return it. That was a nice high spiraling punt off the foot of the punter, and so the Wildcats will take over 1st and 10 at that spot from their own 10-yard line.
I'd like to see Braylon Beckworth get, a couple yards here, get him over 100 yards, close out his senior season for the Wildcats. So far tonight, 12 carries for 94 yards, just under 8 yards a carry. Now, 67 of those yards came on one play, but they still count.
They certainly do. And it's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 10-yard line. Let's see if they can put together a nice 90-yard drive here, maybe with a big play in the midst of it. 2 receivers to either side. Noah Hutchison in the quarterback position. Now a little swing pass out to C.J. Jones on the left side. He's going to lose some yardage. So Hutchison is going to be inserted in the game at quarterback. Give him a few snaps here in the last quarter. Hutchison, probably of the 3 quarterbacks of the Wildcats, the most effective as far as in the passing game. But all 3 have definitely their qualities that they bring to the table, and all 3 will be back with the Wildcats next year. So be interested to see how it all develops in multiple positions and all that kind of different stuff that goes on. 2 receivers to either side. Hutchison takes a snap. He'll hand it off up the middle. And a little tough yardage getting across the 10 to about the 13. And that's Braylon Beckworth on the carry. So it'll be 3rd down and 7 to go for the Cats. 7:47 to go in the game. Wildcats trailing 36-14. Trying to, if nothing else, get another score on the board before the end of this one. 3rd down and 7. Hutchison checks for the second play call from the sideline. A little shifting around. Beckworth goes to the right side of Hutchison. Takes a snap. Looking to the left. Down the side, rather down to the hash mark. And the pass is complete to Jaden Oliver. It's going to be short of the 1st down, though. The idea was to get Oliver out into space and let him do some running. But it's going to be a 4th down and 2 to go for the Wildcats. It looks like they're going to go ahead and go for it here. Why not, right?
Yep, why not?
Less than 7 minutes to go in the game. Hutchison. And we got some movement on the line, so that may change things as the right guard moved. And so now the punt team will come out. So now it will be 4th down and 7. Colt James will be called on to punt it away. Colt done an outstanding job all season punting and kicking. Had about a 60-yard punt in the first half thanks to some great rolls. And he's going to be stationed inside the blue area, the end zone. He's also done a good job of using his athletic ability to get some snaps. And this one's a little bit short, kind of shanked. It's going to bounce inside Wildcat territory. Going to let it roll a little bit to about the 46. So Colt also finds himself on the turf as he was hit late, and no flags, however. No, I take that back. Colt is fine. That was a Pine Tree player that was in the end zone. He's up and moving around okay. I thought that was Colt down there, and I was a little bit alarmed, but he's okay. He's on the sidelines doing just fine. But that was a short punt from Colt.
And they've done, really all night. In fact, I thought they got their hands on his first punt. Yeah. Remember the one that was low and just really uncharacteristic of what we've seen him do this year. But they've been coming out after him pretty hard tonight.
1st and 10 for Pine Tree into Wildcat territory at the 46. Snap is taken by Croft, and he hands off to the back coming through, and it's going to be tackled by Obrigbo and company. Kai Briscoe in on the stop as well. Gain of about 3. Ball spotted at the 43-yard line. So Pine Tree was given pretty good field position here with 6:13 to go in the game. And they've been very methodical, particularly here in the second half, by just taking their time and running effectively, and have extended that lead as we were 21-7 at halftime, and then they have added on a couple of touchdowns since then, including a 2-point conversion. Croft hands off, and swarm tackle by the Wildcat front 7. Jamarcus Brumley, Cason Applewhite, Kai Briscoe, Jakari McKinley, all on the tackle. Going to bring the loss of yardage back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 from the 46. Let's see if the Wildcats can force a 4th down decision here by the Pirate team. Single receiver to either side. H-back on the right side. Croft hands off, and it's going to be stopped well short. That's Cason Applewhite. And it seems like whenever you say that there is a tackle behind the line of scrimmage all throughout the season, Cason Applewhite's in on it.
Yeah, I mean, he just, from that defensive end position, he just has such a quick step, and he's a physical player, obviously, and you're right. To refer to the pregame interview with Coach Race, when you talked about, the college program and, what a good, not that Palestine does, but, like the college sort of, conditioning and nutrition program, I mean, he's going to fill out. He's going to be a monster.
A short punt is going to take a nice Pine Tree bounce, and the Wildcats lose it. Bounce off the return man, and it's going to go to Williams, and he's going to take it into the end zone. That was just one of those where the Wildcat return man was trying to stop it from taking a long roll, but it took the bounce right in and out of his hands, and Pine Tree picks it up, and you can kind of see the wind just got sucked out of the Wildcat sails right there on that. Now they're having a conversation, penalty flag, and see if that's going to bring it back here. But you can see the Wildcats kind of.
Well, it looked like the Wildcat receiver was kind of tied up. He was engaged in a block, and it looked to me like he was surprised to see the ball and just stuck out his hand, and it hit him. And
I think maybe the conversation would have been about could the Pine Tree man advance it, and evidently they agreed that he could. And so now we're getting ready for the extra point. So the touchdown was good as Pine Tree advances the fumble into the end zone. Setting up for that swinging gate, looking to see if the Wildcats will defend it before deciding to jump into the traditional formation, and they do. Ibarra will be attempting the extra point. He's been perfect on the night. Going to try to make it 43-14. He has been successful in all 5 of his attempts. And it is good. So 43-14. The Pine Tree Pirates lead this Wildcat team. 4:15 to go in the ball game. We'll take a quick break and be back with the rest of the 4th quarter. You're listening to Palestine Wildcat football here on KYYK and the E-Tex Radio Network.
The annual Mont Alba Market Days is happening Friday and Saturday, November 14th and November 15th, from 9 to 5 at the Mont Alba Community Center, located near the 4-way in Mont Alba. You can shop through vendors, fall arts and crafts, and fun at the Fall Mont Alba Market Days, November 14th and 15th. If you have an event you would like featured for free, email that information to PalestineRadioStations@gmail.com.
4:15 to go in the ball game. Chris, we've come to that time of the season with the last 4 minutes and 15 seconds where we start really doing a lot of putting a bow on what's happened this year and looking forward to next year. Your first year to watch Palestine Wildcat football, and what are some takeaways for you?
Well, I mean, I think the talent's there. I just think that a lot of the town, not all of it, but a lot of the town is just young, and they're just going to have to grow, and another season of off-season workouts, and just mentally learning the offense. I think will be really, really good for them, and I do think that they'll come back stronger next year, and hopefully be a little bit more competitive in the district and so forth. But I think there's a lot to like.
Yeah, I agree with you. Short kickoff going to be taken at about the 28-yard line by Jaden Oliver, and he's going to get across the 35. You talk about those young players, and the junior class especially is pretty stacked. You got Extelo Brigbo, Ashton Cook, C.J. Jones, Khalil Davis, Jaden Oliver, Noah Hutchison, Micah Tanksley, Jamarcus Brumley, Braylon Johnson, Kenneth Ofashini, Christian Calhoun, Dylan Hudson, Akwasi Donzo. That's some junior class guys that have gotten a lot of playing time this year. Some of those guys have been playing on this varsity for 2 years, and so that experience is certainly going to come in handy coming up next year. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 34. 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Hutchison will keep it, roll around the left side, trying to get some forward yardage, going to get about 3 on the carry. And even some sophomores, you look at some sophomores that we've been calling their name quite a bit, like Colt Metters, who is just, tremendous athlete and outstanding baseball player as well, and basketball player. London Brown, of course, the quarterback, going to be back for 2 more years. DeAndre Turner, we've called his name quite a bit as a receiver. Jakari McKinley got a fumble earlier. Desarian Cummings, Elijah Miller. There's a good sophomore class coming back as well. Handoff around the right side. Going to get across the 40, the 45. Going to be enough for a first down. As on the carry for the Wildcats, that was Braylon Beckworth. Kai Briscoe is another sophomore. King Moore. Elliott Buckler. Oh, my goodness. What a talented sophomore. Quinn Marshall. Jimmy Green. These are names we've called a lot. And Caleb Giron has started at center all season long. So there's a lot, as you said, a lot to like. I think that's a great way to put it. And we just talked about the 7th grade team that was undefeated. All the sub-varsity teams have had good seasons this year. And so to my handoff to Beckworth, he's cutting it off the left side. Now back to the right. Gets across into Pirate territory, past the 40, 35, now to the 31-yard line. What a nice run there again by Braylon Beckworth.
Yeah, and he's putting together a pretty nice night. Now 15 carries for 133 yards.
That is great, and great way to finish his senior season off, and he's really worked hard. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Hutchison hands it off to Beckworth around the left side, trying to cut, and he gets the 30, 25, going to get another first down, the 20, into the 15. And so he was able to turn the corner there and get another first down for the Wildcats. So they're moving the ball here with 2:15 left to go. You say, well, the ball game is out of hand, but you want to finish this one strong, and you get a scoring drive would be good.
Yeah, I think you always want to finish strong regardless of how the rest of your season looked. And you're just looking for things to build on at this point, and never be ashamed to pick up yards and move the football for sure.
So we're going to have a timeout of the field. It's a 2-minute warning. And the Wildcats trying to put a final scoring drive. And so we'll be giving you our player of the game here in our post-game show. And we'll also be kind of recapping some stats and giving you some scores from around the area as well. And so we'll be talking about that here in just a moment and taking a look at some of the things around the area as well. We'll give you a final look at that. But we know a lot of the things that affect us here in Anderson County have been shared as Lindale does what they do. And, Chapel Hill got to sit out tonight and just watch it all happen and get a week off before the playoffs. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Hutchison hands off to Beckworth coming up the middle. And he's going to get a gain of about 3.
Well, and you think, we were talking about just kind of the season and how it all played out, the young guys that we got and all that. But, you think about how many games that the Wildcats played this year that were close or certainly, winnable games at halftime. And, the second half came out, just weren't able to close the deal or had a couple things go against them. I mean, this team is really not that far off. I really believe that.
Hand off to Beckworth, going off left tackle. He's inside the 5-yard line. Going to be another first down for the Wildcats. 1:20 to go, and so got plenty of time if they keep it moving forward here to get it into the end zone. Beckworth now goes to the right hand of Hutchinson. He'll take the handoff, go up the middle, and going to get about 2 yards. So 1 minute to go. Wildcats may have to use a timeout as it gets down there if they don't score on this play, because they'd certainly like to get it in the end zone one more time. They get back to the line with 50 seconds left to go in the game. 2 receivers to the left, single receiver to the right. Hutchinson hands it off to Beckworth, trying to get around the left side. This time he can't turn the corner. He's going to lose it a little bit. Let's see if Coach Ray's calls a timeout here. I think he will. He does. And we talked about how Coach Ray's defends his team. To me, this is a class move by Coach Ray's as well. And the coach from Pine Tree, Coach Bachman, he's going to respect this, seeing what Coach Ray's is trying to do here to end the season and end this game strong.
Yeah, I think so. I think coaches, they're kind of a fraternity, and they get it. They understand, and that coach understands what Coach Race is trying to accomplish here. The game's in hand, and all of that, of course, if you're Pine Tree. But I don't think there's anything wrong with doing this. It's your last drive of the season. Yeah. And if you decide you want to go with Beck again, see if you can get him another touchdown tonight, so he can go out with that much better of a ball game on his last night as a Wildcat.
Back to live action. 2 receivers to the left, single receiver to the right. Hutchins is going to throw it in the corner. Tries to get a man open, and the catch is made, and it's a touchdown for the Wildcats. C.J. Jones makes the catch. That was a very athletic and very quality catch there by C.J. Jones. Had to go up high and kind of caught it with one hand and then brought it in.
Well, and not only that, but you could make an argument for defensive pass interference too, because it seemed like there was a lot of contact down there by the Pine Tree corner. Now, I don't think they would have called it if it would have been an incomplete pass. I don't think the referee would have called it, but you could have certainly made that argument. Great play, and a pretty nice throw too from Hutchinson.
Yeah. Good snap, good hold, good kick, as Colt James again is perfect for the season from the extra points. And his only miss this year placements was on a 54-yard attempt in the last game. And I told Coach Ray's in the pregame interview, I was so glad to see him give Colt that opportunity. You get in beyond 40 yards, and you think, man, we want to see Colt get a shot at this, because we know he's got the leg. Anything between 45 and in, we know he's got the leg for it. And 54 certainly is within his possibility. But the hold was a little wonky maybe, and he hooked it a little bit. But anyway, but other than that, Colt's been perfect on the season as far as his place kicks and been very effective punting-wise as well. So, taking a look at some of these seniors we're going to miss: Braylon Beckworth, Savorian Martin, Don Brooks. These guys have been very stalwart on offense and defense. Jeremiah Carr, Colt James, as we just mentioned, Cohen Thomason, Cason Applewhite going to be playing at the next level, Caden Timmons, Ethan Thomas, Tadeo Marquez. I mean, these guys have made their mark. They've not been a large class, but they have made their mark. And even though we'll see 1 and 9 on the mark for the year, we'll know that this was a year of progress that the Wildcats have made, and looking forward to the future. They spotted at the 40-yard line where Colt James has teed it up for the last time of the year. And it's going to be a low line drive kick, going to be bounced and taken at the 40-yard line. And he almost got a long return there. The Wildcats thankfully stopped him there. I think it was Jeremiah Carr. And so Pine Tree more than likely probably just take the victory formation here and run this one out. One more play as they going to end up winning this with 43-21. So the Wildcats will finish 1 and 9, but again, looking back at where we were last year and where we are now, I would definitely say we're in better shape than we were this time last year, and certainly a lot more optimism coming from the younger classes, not just the juniors and sophomores on this team, but the JV and freshman team, and of course the junior high as well. Looking forward to them coming and contributing to the sub-varsity teams next year. Pine Tree certainly does what we thought they were going to do. They just took the snap, and that's gonna do it here as we'll run out the last 18 seconds or so, and the officials will head to the locker room, and the players will prepare to shake hands, and the Pine Tree Pirates win this one 43-21. We'll be back to tell you how it happened, to give you our player of the game here in just a moment, as you've been listening to the fourth quarter, brought to you by Palestine Regional Medical Center on Wildcat Football on the E-Tex Radio Network.
It's not enough for a hospital to have expert doctors, innovative medical technology, or the most comfortable waiting rooms. It's not enough to be close by, conveniently around the corner when you need to be treated. The best care comes from people with the calling to heal, to comfort, to connect, and to never stop searching for answers. Because at Palestine Regional Medical Center, that's why we're here.
You've heard the phrase, if you don't like the weather around here, just wait 5 minutes. Well, rest assured, AccuWeather forecasts on the E-Tex Radio Group will keep you informed with up-to-the-minute weather forecast for our area, so you don't have to keep guessing. Windy, wet, or wonderful. The E-Tex Radio Group keeps you covered with local forecasts every hour to keep you safe and informed. Accurate forecasts with no hype. Only on this E-Tex Radio Group.
KYYK Palestine, country's greatest hits for East Texas. Part of the E-Tex Radio Network. Kick 98.3.
Well, the Palestine Wildcats end the season 1-9 after a loss tonight from the hand of the Pine Tree Pirates, 43-21. But certainly some good things happened in tonight's game. Chris, why don't you take a look at some of the stats we saw for tonight?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. So, first downs, Palestine had 12. They had 6 in the first half, 6 in the second half, 13 for Pine Tree. Let me see. Palestine ended up 4 out of 10 on third down. I mean, 40%. Okay, that we've seen worse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but how about this? This is one that surprised me. For Pine Tree, only 1 out of 6 on third down conversions, which kind of surprised me. But when you think about how they scored, it's a little bit less surprising. Total yards, 257 for Pine Tree, 220 for the Wildcats. Rushing the ball, 36 carries for 189 yards for the Pirates, 5.25 yards per carry. How about this? 31 carries for 181 carries for Palestine for 5.84 yards per carry.
Yeah.
So really, at least in terms of per carry.
Yeah.
Now there was some garbage time in there, of course, but again, pretty close. Penalties, 7 penalties against Palestine resulted in 33 yards, and only 1 penalty for Pine Tree for 6 yards. You mentioned how well they were coached, how well Pine Tree is coached with the execution, and that certainly points to that. 3 fumbles for Palestine, only lost 1 of them. 2 2 fumbles for a Pine Tree, and they actually lost both of them. So Palestine actually wins the turnover battle. Also, individually for the Wildcats, passing, London Brown 6 out of 10 for 33 yards. Noah Hutchinson 3 out of 3 for 6 yards. Rushing the ball, Braylon Beckworth 20 carries for 159 yards and a touchdown. He averaged just under 8 yards per carry. London Brown 9 carries for 27 yards and a touchdown. Receiving, C.J. Jones 3 catches for 10 total yards. Braylon Beckworth 2 receptions for 15 yards. Don Brooks one reception for 13 yards. Jaden Oliver 1 reception for 5 yards.
Now let's take a look at our candidates for the player of the game. I thought early in the game that we saw some the defensive play of Kason Applewhite was one that kind of stood out a good bit. And so he was certainly a candidate that I had in my mind. I'm sure you had him in your mind as well. And then you mentioned during the break a moment ago about Colt James. Make your case for Colt.
Yeah, I would just argue for Colt. He punted the ball 5 times tonight. He averaged 39.4 yards. And so not every punt was obviously a work of art, but he did have a 62-yard punt, and he did put 2 punts inside the 20-yard line, which pinned Pine Tree back a little bit. And as you mentioned, perfect on his extra points, 3 for 3.
On any given normal night, Colt James would certainly be a leader in the clubhouse for that player of the game. But I'm going to tell you, just because of the way he finished so strong, I'm going to give the edge to Braylon Beckworth.
Yeah, Braylon had a great, really his best game of the season.
Yeah.
20 carries, 159 yards, just under 8 yards per carry. Had a long of 67, and that long run really kept Palestine within striking distance, at the time, if you think about it. And of course, had the one touchdown. But, if you're a senior, that's the way you want to go out. If you can't go out winning it, then you want to go out, fighting hard, and he obviously did. So, what a huge addition he was this year for Coach Race and this Wildcat team, and he goes out as player of the game.
And Beckworth was kind of an unexpected blessing this year. He had been in Palestine ISD in the past and then had moved away and moved back. And so Coach Race was glad to get him back in the program this year and finish strong and getting the first 100-yard rushing total for an individual this season. So I want to say just for a moment, as we've looked to this season as a season of growth and looking forward to the Wildcats being even more competitive next year, looking at the district, the way it ended up, Kilgore finishes 6-0, Lindale 5-1, Pine Tree 4-2, Chapel Hill 3-3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then Henderson finishing 2-4, Wildcats 1-4, and Maybank 1-5 rather, and Maybank 0-6. And so it just kind of went all the way down the line there, one game separating each one. And then of course Fairfield winning District 9 and 3A Division 1, and then TIG, and then Westwood, and then Diboll, and then TIG. So those four teams are going to the playoffs. Frankston ends up undefeated in 2A Division 1. Cayuga also going to the playoffs. So East Texas, as we mentioned earlier, is going to be well represented. But let me just say this. This season was a season of first for us on the broadcast crew, KYYK 98.3, moving into the video live stream thanks to our partnership with Palestine ISD. And our video director, George Seralde, has done an incredible job. He just had to start from scratch. His experience had been behind the camera, and he had to do all the other things and learn a lot, and he has done an outstanding job doing some things on the fly. And Zakayla Ashford was our camera person for most of the year, and she had to be away tonight. And Benjamin Seralde, George's brother, jumped in, and he's done an outstanding job with us. And then Chris, we just met really just a couple of weeks before the season started. You just moved to town back in July, and we have been thankful to have you on our broadcast and glad that you're a part of the team here. Well,
I sure appreciate that. Let me also give a shout out to our guy George. Everything you said about him is true, and what's also true, he's really a cool guy. I mean, yeah. He's a good guy. He's one of those guys you wonder if he ever gets mad at anybody or at anything. He's just kind of got that demeanor. But Tony, I sure appreciate you letting me come along for the ride this year, and what a great experience it's been for me, and I hope the people of Palestine appreciate what they have in you. And I know you probably don't even want me to say something like that, but what a fantastic job you do on the play-by-play, and it's just been a really cool thing for me to be a part of.
Well, we believe that we've got a good crew, and looking forward to the years ahead. I'll be back with you doing play-by-play for basketball and baseball and softball coming up after the Christmas break. So our first broadcast will be January the 9th. So we'll be looking for that, Palestine Lady Cats and Wildcats. So for Chris Ruwalt, for George Seralde, Benjamin Seralde, and all of our crew from KYYK, let me say thank you for all that you do to make these broadcasts possible. Thank you to all our sponsors for your support. Without you, we could not do this. And so on behalf of all those, we want to say thank you. Have a great weekend, and may God bless, and we'll see you pretty soon.
This is Jason Sander, owner at Quality Cool Air, where we strive to make your home comfort our top priority. If heating and cooling your home or business becomes an issue, we'll show you why our customers are so loyal. For sales, service, and installation, call 903-723-2600 or find us online at qualitycoolair.com. Proud to be a sponsor of the Palestine High School Athletics. Go Wildcats!
Thank you for joining us for Palestine Wildcat football on KYYK 98.3, etexradio.live, and network1sports.com, with video live streaming on YouTube and Facebook at KYYK Palestine. Tonight's broadcast was made possible by Cowboy Headquarters, Kevin and Janine Lilly's McDonald's, East Texas Crushed Rock, Palestine ISD, Elder Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Athens, Palestine Regional Medical Center, Quality Cool Air, Shep's Barbecue and Catering, Dogwood Insurance Agency, and Service Master by Brown Construction. Now we return you to our regularly scheduled programming already in progress.